September 24th, 2019, open session meeting of the Ayer Planning Board. To start our general business, I'd like a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? And I'm going to jump in here if there's anybody in the room who's interested. This is a little out of order, but I don't want you to sit around for a half hour and find out that we're not going to cover something. On our agenda this evening is a continued public hearing on a proposed definitive subdivision off Shaker Road, 23 lots for Daniel and Joel Aho. And we received a letter, must have been yesterday, correct? Yes, I'll read it out loud. Dear board members, on behalf of our client, we request a continuance of our hearing on 9/24/19 to the next available regularly scheduled meeting. Very truly yours, Places Associates, John Boardman. So we will not be covering anything about the Shaker Road agenda item this evening. Please, yeah?
Do we need to have a vote on the continuation later in the meeting? Well, we do that now.
Yes, it would be good for the planning board to continue the public hearing to the October 8th meeting.
So we're going to be
Yeah, well, we are going to have a vote, yes,
Okay,
but nothing of substance will be covered
Okay.
on that topic this evening, is what I wanted to get across. Any other?
Assuming the vote goes the way you want it to.
This is true.
Still.
Can't assume the vote will be in favor of continuing.
You're absolutely correct. So if you may stay and we'll find out where the vote goes. Thanks, Julie. Wow.
Gotta keep it interesting.
You did that. Okay. Any other changes regarding the agenda?
Nope.
I would like to ask for one more thing, if we may. I did have some rather substantial comments on the August 13th, and I apologize, Heather, I didn't get them back to you. Minutes. So I'd like to actually ask that we move the minutes to later in the meeting, if it's okay with people.
Yeah.
Not trying to hide anything, it's just there's some language I want to double check on. So
Sure.
those are the two changes I would suggest. Move the minutes later, and if you're here for the AHO, we'll vote to accept the letter for a request for continuance. Any further? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So this brings us to review of an A&R plan. Oh, and by the way, the minutes for September 10th were not available to us yet, previous to the meeting. So that's why we're going to approve minutes later also. Next on the agenda, a review A&R plan, Trevor Trail, 2 lots and 2 parcels, CJ Moore. We got a proponent in the room, please. The proponents always look the same.
They always look the same, don't they?
Shocker.
Is it a green shirt day? I didn't
It is.
notice.
No, you didn't notice. It's secret memos.
Enter and sign in, please.
Good evening. My name is Nick Pauling. I'm with Goldsmith Preston Ringwall. We're the civil and surveyors who submitted a A&R plan for CJ Moore. This covers 2 properties at the subdivision known as Riley Jane Farm at the end of Pleasant Street. There's a new road off of Pleasant Street, Trevor Trail. At the end of that cul-de-sac, lot 12 and 13 specifically, is the 2 lots that are in question. What the application of the A&R is actually doing is taking portions of the existing lot 12 and 13, basically shrinking those lots, creating 2 parcels that would then be conveyed over to the adjoining lot 10, which is on the plan as you've seen it, a long skinny neck. No,
Which would be north. of-
north, yep.
Got it, okay.
So there's a 50-foot right away from Pleasant Street comes over.
And that would go down this way?
Yes.
Hold
I
up
see
the
it.
camera. All right.
Essentially what this is doing is a means to an end for Mr. Moore. As you can notice on the A&R plan, there's a wetland system that bisects both of these properties. That wetland is the tail end of the wetland system that was impacted due to some oil spillage up at the high school. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on whose side you're on, Mr. Moore is looking for some indemnification from the oil companies. When he sells these properties, they're refusing to give so. So the solution to try and actually sell these for buildable lots is to remove the wetland from said lots. So if you look at the buildable area where this wetland is, where it generally bisects the larger parcels, the buildable area remains unchanged on both of those. The zoning is 12,000 square feet, and we're shrinking the lots down to, I think, still well over an acre.
Yeah, but you're probably, my math is what it is off the top of my head, but we're looking at over 100,000 square feet, dropping it down to 67, 8 in one case, and a lot more in the other, but it's still over 60, acre and a third, acre and a half.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
You mentioned lots, renumbering the lots 12A and 12B?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. You answered my question.
Why?
Why?
That's really
I was
it.
wondering that too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the other question I wanted to know is where is, I didn't see a drawing come through, we just saw the GIS picture of it.
This is it.
Yeah, I see the drawing now, but on the GIS picture, nothing was labeled, and I was like, we're gonna put 2 landlocked lots.
No.
What were you gonna do with
No,
those?
it's super secret. That's on red shirt day, not green shirt. Can't
Okay,
tell you
good.
till then.
Because I was gonna say you can't do that
All
anymore.
right, fair enough.
No more landlocked lots.
I just gotta ask the obvious question. What then happens to these parcels? They just left wild or?
These parcels are going to be conveyed to Lot 10. I actually brought with me the larger original subdivision.
Conveyed to lot 10?
So Lot 10 is here. This neck, it comes back into this large wetland area in the back. That's essentially an unbuildable lot as far as residential or any uses.
Careful what you say.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Be very careful what you say.
All right, so it becomes part of that.
Yep.
All right.
It becomes a future concern.
So that was gonna be my question, Nick, if it's becoming part of that, it doesn't matter that they're still called parcel A and parcel B. It doesn't all become lot 10, the old form of lot 10. These-
No, there would actually be, need to be a deed that actually says that 10A, for example, is now made up of Lot 10 as shown on the original plan, as well as parcel B and parcel A on the current plan.
Basically, you need our agreement on this in order to go to record and get a deed.
It's got a point.
I just had,
Yeah, any questions from the board?
well, I was trying to, I'm thinking for Mr. Moore now.
Mhm.
So I think you started the premise by saying that he was gonna separate these parcels because they were the ones we know that were impacted, by this runoff. Was the former, if this is the former, was lot 10 also impacted?
That's above my pay grade. Really, I can't even say that these 2 lots were impacted.
These 2 parcels now are future, former
Right.
lots, yeah,
These-
okay.
I can't even say that. There's a
Keyword is
potential.
may, right?
There's a potential. And really what he's looking for is to sell the lots.
Right,
He's looking for an indemnification so that the potential buyers can't turn around and sue him if there is adverse impacts within those wetlands.
I thought there was a house on this already, but there's only one house on that side of the street, is that what you're saying?
There's 3.
Oh, on the,
on-
sorry, the north side of the road right now is where 12A is.
They
There
were
were 2
on
homes
12.
there now.
I haven't been up there in a little bit. There may be. I haven't been up there in a while. I do think there is one being built. I don't know if that's lot 11 or lot 12. She says 11.
Oh, I see, okay.
So there's only one house on the left-hand side, or the north side of Treble Trail right now.
And I believe, isn't that at the corner of Pleasant Street Extension and
corner.
Trevor Trail? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
So it's not actually, it's identified here as one Trevor Trail.
right,
The
right,
lot is not on this.
right.
That would be.
I know there's 3 on the right, 1 in the back,
Yes,
and 2 in
you
the
are
front.
correct.
Thanks, okay, good.
Okay.
Could you let Bonnie know what those are? Okay.
Yeah.
Further questions?
Just to follow up on Jonathan's, and what does become these properties just sit in a trust of some sort in lot 10?
I think there's a note here that parcel A and B is to be conveyed to 10.
So this big lot 10,
Yeah,
It,
10 becomes a big sponge.
kind of the hardest part of this is, we aren't always made privy to that for a couple of reasons. Land does represent value, and and the use of the land represents a certain value, and it would be unfair to the proponent to have to divulge what they want to use the land for in the future. Because it may have a negative impact on them, positive or negative impact. So we get to slice and time it sometimes,
Okay.
which can be frustrating, but
But I think we are allowed to ask what it's gonna be now. I mean, I
Yeah,
think that's
you
fair
can.
enough.
Yeah. so,
The intention is to go to lot 10. That's certainly
yeah.
lot 7, as we know it to the south, could also say we're interested in it.
And
So-
this is,
You're indicating on here that currently the assessor is calling, you're calling it Lot 10, but he's calling it map 12 parcel 1. We know there's a difference between a parcel and a lot. It's a big difference.
Well, that's also a map, map
Yeah.
12 parcel 1, that's also an assessor's
Okay, you're right.
reference.
that's the
You're right.
description of it.
Sorry about that. Parcel A may be considered building. Parcel 1, lots 1 to 12A.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay. I want to thank you for dating it month, day, and year. I appreciate that, Nick.
Survey plans almost always are.
I know, but we don't often see the survey plans when they get like that. So thank you. If there's no other questions, Mark, do you have anything you want to? Okay.
No.
Accept a motion to accept the NR?
Make a motion, we accept the A and R as proposed for the end of travel Trevor Trail cul-de-sac off of Pleasant Street Extension, Zone A2. Do I have to describe the actual,
You can just say as brought to us in the.
as brought to us in the staff report dated September 20th, 2019.
Now on the plan dated September 2nd.
And the plan dated September 17th, thank you.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much, Nick.
Thank you.
And we have one abstention.
One abstention.
Thank you.
You guys want to sign that now,
Yeah, you bring a copy for sign? Signature?
or? Oh, yeah,
Good. Let's take a moment. Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mark.
And do I have to put the date this on in?
Just sign it, please.
And there's 3, right?
Good, how are you today? I always said you were second round for the last one too. I keep giving a smile. Every now and again, I get a smile out of it.
Not too often,
Hey, I almost got you to smile when you said please hold on.
Yeah, which ones?
You're correct, sir.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering.
We've been.
Did you?
Irish and Irish is enough.
Wow.
I'm such a melon guy.
I don't think we should make 33 then.
But thank you.
I know.
You got me beat. I did 10.
Yeah, but I'm also really hesitant.
Well, probably, but I'll tell you, I don't know what you did, but I enjoyed mine.
Let's have a full board.
Yes. I was at the crafts and she just wanted to get up and go to the room. It's like, this is average right here.
We're 9:24.
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot.
That is for the form-based code. He had to do a separate second public hearing tonight because he made some additional changes to the table of uses, and he also changed some of the parameters.
Okay, so is this on?
Yeah, that's the second one.
It's the second one. I just wanted to know.
Yep, yep.
That makes perfect sense.
Agenda. Back to the agenda. Okay. Sorry?
Yeah.
This one here shows
I will.
data.
Um, So the next item on our agenda this evening
Yes, sir.
is a continued public hearing, the proposed definitive subdivision off Shaker Road, 23 lots. Daniel and Joel Aho are the proponents. For people who might have just joined us, the proponents have sent a letter yesterday after the agenda was distributed and posted last week. And I read the letter a moment ago, but I'll read the letter again. September 23rd, 2019, from Places Associates to the Ayer Planning Board regarding the definitive subdivision filing for Shaker Road, Assessors Map 36 parcels, Dear Board members, on behalf of our client, we request a continuance of our hearing on 9/24/19 to the next available regularly scheduled meeting. Very truly yours, Places Associates, John Boardman, PE.
Just go home and have dinner.
Oh, can I come?
Can I go too?
So it's not official yet. They have asked us if we would give them a continuance. I need a motion from the board and we need to vote it out, but, anybody?
Yeah, I make a motion that
Is there
we
a motion?
continue the public hearing for the proposed subdivision, 54 and 56 Littleton Road, 19 lots.
Up.
Wrong one.
Back up the bus.
Back up, sorry. Continue public hearing for the proposed definitive subdivision of Shaker Road, 23 lots. And to continue that on our
The next
available schedule.
regularly scheduled meeting, which will be October 8th at this one, okay?
Second.
Got motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done. Thank you.
Sorry.
Enjoy your evening.
Yeah, sorry I didn't get you dinner yet.
Have a good evening.
Had I found out about it earlier, I would have told you, but we have to go to the formal matter anyway, so.
That's fine.
Thanks, guys.
We live close, no problem.
Yep. We're flying through this one.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
speak
get back
to
to
you.
Nick.
Continue public hearing on the proposed definitive subdivision for 54 and 56 Littleton Road, 19 lots. Enter and sign in, please.
Fancy meeting you here. Nick Pauling with Goldsmith Preston Ringwall.
You look familiar.
I got that face. So as you mentioned, we're here for the continued public hearing for the OSRD as well as the site plan application for the subdivision at Littleton Road. We haven't made any revisions since the last meeting. I know Mr. Chairman was absent. We've had some revisions. Those revisions included the removal of the attenuation area adjacent to
Smaller one.
the one in the
Lower right corner.
so
Thank you, Nick.
yeah, no problem.
Sorry, I was unable.
Attenuation area used to be here. What we did is we were able to remove that. We were able to grab some of the runoff that used to be filtered into that area by extending a drainage channel about 15 to 20 feet. Collect that runoff and send it back into the infiltration basin. The infiltration basin, the limits itself did not grow. We had modifications to the control structure itself to try to attenuate the 2 and the 10-year event. Taking the attenuation area out, the post peak rates during the 100 are an increase over the pre, but that's something that we just have to analyze flooding impacts to still meet compliance with the stormwater management guidelines. Since that last meeting and those revisions, there has been one letter that came out. Basically, one was from BSC. That I believe the 6 comments are just continually echoed. She mentions that as, that's what happened when we took the attenuation area out. We feel that the flooding impacts down gradient aren't increased by the increase in the discharge. It's a subjective opinion, how far out do you want to go, how close do you want to look at. That drainage divide, there's 2 analysis points on the property, one at that rear left corner, the other one within the wetland to the right. They actually go different directions, which is actually a little interesting. The analysis point to the right, which actually flows back towards Littleton Road underneath the culvert, that's actually seeing a decrease in all storms as well as volume, probably about 15% in the 100-year event. The analysis point to the north actually flows to as we're looking at it north, where it gets into a wetland system that actually flows at the bottom of Pingery Hill, that comes all the way down through the tail race at the Rotary, to get into Flanagan Pond, to Grove Pond, to Plow Shop Pond, to Catamount, and here in Concord. That's actually shown a little bit on the area.
That's interesting, that actually runs north from there.
Yeah, it's actually.
Wow. I wouldn't actually think about it having run north from there.
Well, you know, I actually made the comment.
But then again, the Pepsi is down lower.
Right, one of the
Yeah.
comments we made during one of the site walks is that as you're walking into the site, you're moving
Yeah.
down, and you're thinking, well, that water's going that way, and it's a little bit, you know, a trippy situation. If you look at the topography on the USGS, here's Pingery Hill
Yeah.
contours. You can actually see the contours come here,
Yeah.
come back, and you can actually see the stream flowing back here, and the cul-de-sac is actually over in this direction here. So our site, you know, it's off slightly. These are 10-meter contours, 30 feet or so. You can see we actually have the lots overlaid on the USGS. It's pretty accurate, not precise. But you can see the low point here, and then this contour is actually flowing out. So as I said, it's somewhat subjective. We feel that we're meeting the standard. We can certainly provide any extra, but again, how high up on the helicopter do we want to go to kind of analyze the potential impacts?
Did you have a report for this tonight?
Yeah, that's the notice of decision.
Okay, got it.
Right, yep. So, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I'll just give a little bit of background on our end of what we did.
Please do.
Mark Wetzel and I met with Katie Moniz of BSC Group last week with the understanding that because the extension is expiring prior to the next planning board meeting, that the planning board needs to make a decision on this plan tonight. So with that in mind, we all agreed that the best use of Katie's time as an engineer was to advise Mark Wetzel and myself on proposed conditions of approval that pertain to BSC's review of the subdivision. And that came in an email dated September 18th, which was sent out. So those comments, proposed conditions of approval from BSC Group were incorporated into the notice of decision that you see, which I sent an earlier version of a day or two ago, and I apologize for how long it takes, but this is the first time we do a major subdivision approval, so there's a lot that I had to research and incorporate into this to make it as complete as possible for planning board action. And I consulted with other planners too, and it was felt that the best way to structure the conditions and the findings would be to tie them to certain specific actions or timelines after the subdivision approval, such as before planning board endorsement, which is the period between when the plan is filed with the town clerk after the approval or whatever. There's a 20-day appeal period after which the planning board can endorse. It doesn't have to endorse on day 21, but that opens the window for the endorsement. So many of these conditions are tied to having them in place or have the conditions met prior to planning board signature or endorsement of the plan. The biggest issue that I believe faces this subdivision is, as a new OSRD, it's something that we will have to develop a policy for as a town for these smaller subdivisions with small isolated open space areas, is so far we have not, there's been no designation of an entity such as a conservation organization, the town of Ayer, or an agency of the state to control the conservation restriction for the open space, and that's called for in the OSRD bylaw. So that's an important item that has been left unresolved. So I have that reflected in one of the findings that, that's something that needs to be resolved as soon as possible prior to planning board endorsement. So that's the biggest issue. Katie herself, as an engineer, felt that the engineering issues that we've been discussing, as Nick mentioned, with the attenuation basin and the stormwater management, she feels they have been satisfactorily addressed. In talking with
I
Mr.
think
Webb.
she disagrees on on what attenuation to use, but she agrees that the attenuation that's being proposed will meet the needs of the property.
Correct.
Thank you.
In the stormwater handbook. And as far as the bonding and surety is concerned, Mr. Wetzel informed me that that could be negotiated at a later point between the Department of Public Works and the applicant. So we don't have a bonding amount right now, but that will be resolved prior to any construction on the site. So the way that I structured the notice of decision, and this, is stamped with draft because, we may alter it tonight. There may be an additional finding or condition that we would like to place on it. But it's structured in terms of the procedural history. We would also like to put in, plan references in the near future. We talk about the waivers we requested and either granted or denied. The planning board findings, so far, I only listed 2. We could list more if we wish. Then we go into a list of general conditions, which are conditions which would apply to all subdivisions in town. Changing the name, of course, it might be a little bit in some of these general conditions that pertains to a specific case, but in general, and I'm repeating myself, the general conditions would be applicable for all subdivisions. So they're treated in terms of ones that don't have a time limit, which is A, B, prior to planning board endorsement, C, prior to any site work on the property and site work requirements, D, prior to any departmental permits, including but not limited to the DPW, fire, and building departments, E, prior to the release of part or all of the performance guarantee. And then we go into for tonight, I think, which is more important, the special conditions, many of which were at the advice of Katie Moniz of VSC. They're in there prior to endorsement of the plan, prior to site work, and prior to release of the performance guarantee, etc.
And Mark, under special conditions, letter E, number 3, written documentation on the ownership of the open space and the conservation restriction, that's an echo of finding number 2. Is that correct? That's the same issue we're addressing there?
Right.
Resolution
Yes.
of that?
Correct. And some repetition in the notice of decision with the findings and conditions is not a problem. In fact, it's better to have some repetition and redundancy than to miss something.
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure I understood it correctly.
Yep. So, the applicant has just recently seen these, so.
Have you?
I received them this afternoon about
Right.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, we've been
I do have a
working-
couple of questions.
Yeah,
Mark's-
I appreciate your
So,
patience.
we've been,
Mark, as you probably know, has been working feverishly on these. So you may have even seen a copy before me, Nick.
Maybe, who knows?
no, so I know
I
there
don't
will
really
be,
look draconian at this point, just
There will be,
casting a look at them, but go ahead, yeah.
this is for discussion, and, it's the first OSRD subdivision we're doing, so I think as we go forward in the future, we'll be able to refine this process. We'll have the general conditions of approval as standard things that we just plug in, and hopefully it'll be a smoother process, more timely in the future. But, it's my belief that, these are a good basis from which the planning board can make a decision. Also, to keep in mind, is the Conservation Commission is still reviewing the plan with the notice of intent, and I'm not quite sure how long that process will go, but they will have their conditions for their wetland impact sort of issues.
If you don't mind, has the NOI been filed with the Conservation Commission? You're on their agenda coming up?
Yes, we've already opened the hearing.
Okay, thank you. You were right, I missed a meeting.
No, it's fine.
My head's been somewhere else.
It's been a while, that's fine.
Let me ask,
Okay, thanks.
I'm a little confused about what
Yes.
we're asked to do tonight. So if to make these findings, that's not the same as the planning board endorsement that can't be made until we figure out what we're doing with the conservation restrictions? So we can have
yes.
open items?
Well, I'll give a
please
little
explain
brief.
it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's planning board action, which could be either approval with conditions, or denial of the subdivision plan, which would be scheduled tonight since we haven't been granted an extension unless we get another extension. And then there's later on, there's an appeal period after the decision is filed with the town clerk, that starts the clock for the appeal, which is 20 days. So any abutter or any concerned citizen, I'm not quite sure what the law is on that exactly, but there's a 20-day appeal period. And if nobody appeals during that period, the planning board is enabled to endorse, which actually is signing the plan, just like we sign A&R plans.
Every page will be stamped and every page
Right.
will have a signature block.
So within
Yes.
that 20 days, we'd have to resolve this issue of the...
No, actually, it would
Can I
be
just, I'll just clarify for you. So,
after 20 days.
The planning board votes to approve the plan.
Right.
Technically, we have 14 days to write a decision, which will probably be done beforehand, then it gets signed and sent to the town clerk. It's a 20-day appeal period. On the 21st day, the applicant then picks it up and records that. All the conditions that you have on there that say prior to endorsement, until those items are done, you do not endorse the plan.
And until the plan is endorsed, we can't pull a building permit. Just as Mark just said, until you guys sign a plan and we record it, we don't have official lots, so we can't sell them. So it behooves us to meet those conditions.
Right.
So in essence, we've agreed to the approval of the plan as we've seen it so far and what we've been shown and whatnot.
Right.
And at that point
Yes.
in time, we
Yes.
have, they have an approval.
Right, with the conditions
and the
as defined.
conditions are tied to the approval. And
Right.
then it's up to the applicant and us to work out all those
Yes.
details.
Now,
Correct.
if I could also expand on that.
Yes.
That period from closing of the hearing and voting of the board to plan approval is also where a lot of things typically come into play. For example, performance bonds, the drafting of a construction, a CR for the open space, the setup of a potential homeowners association. That takes time, and we're not gonna go down that road if the project isn't approved. It's kind of like picking out the wall color before you actually have a house to put it on.
And what's a little confusing, but we don't need to worry about it so much, is they're on the parallel track of working with the Conservation Commission right now also. It's their hunt, not ours.
Which is in,
Our final sign-off will have a clean set of general conditions and a clean
Yes.
set of special conditions and findings and whatnot.
Right, yes.
They'll
it'll
go
be-
along with the endorsement of the final plan.
Correct, yeah, this is a
Right,
draft
but it's
which
pretty
is
close.
subject to a
Very
little bit of change, but we hope it's as close as possible. And as far as the open space control with the conservation restriction, my advice is that the applicant meet with the town management and the Conservation Commission to sort of, discuss this and see what potential solutions might come out of that discussion. And I've talked to the town manager about this too. I believe that we need a policy, not a case-by-case basis. We need a policy for all subdivisions going forward, all OSRD subdivisions that have smaller amounts of open space. I mean, we will be getting OSRDs that are large, that have large tracts of open space that connect to Audubon land or connect to fish and game land or whatever. And in those cases, it's pretty obvious who wants to hold a conservation restriction of the Fish and Game or the Audubon Society or something like that. But, I did a little analysis of potentially developable land, subdividable land in Ayer, and there's quite a few parcels that are less than 20 acres that, like this one, would have small amounts of open space that are somewhat isolated. So I believe the town should develop a policy for how those open space parcels will be managed.
Thank you. Nick, you said you saw this. You've got some questions.
I have a number of
Some
questions.
feedback
I don't know
on
where you want to start.
I've got a couple too, if you want.
Okay.
Go ahead, Matt.
So
Part of me wants to start with the beginning. I mean,
my questions actually predate this. I'm sorry. So the meeting with
No,
Katie,
no.
Mr. Wetzel, and Mr. Ashenbo,
yeah.
when was that?
That was last week.
And that was a private meeting?
Yes, there was a meeting with the consultant Otis, a second meeting, so we felt it was the best use of her time to have that.
It would have
second
been nice to have been informed. Also, there's an email from her, the 18th. Could
Yes.
we have copies of that, please?
Yes,
Those are the general comments. Being left out of the decision-making process during the application is, I'll say, frustrating. I don't want to go through the dictionary.
I get it.
Also, going through
Let me back that up. Do you think there was anything outstanding that came out of that meeting that would have affected Nick's thought process?
I do not
Doesn't
believe so, and
appear.
I apologize for that.
Well, it's a bigger picture. The peer review is actually being paid for by the applicant.
Yeah, right.
So there needs to be some transparency. I know that right now, in other towns, there's usually an escrow that's accounted for the cost of the peer review that's drawn upon. I don't think that actually happened here. I do understand we're on the hook for it. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean that if they account for 2 meetings, they're required to give you 2. I certainly understand the conversations if needed. But one of the conditions is that we pay all outstanding invoices of the peer review, and not knowing the amount of hours that actually went in starts to make some questions. That's my only point.
Yeah, that was,
I think it's a valid point, thank you.
yeah.
The other part is again, we fully admit and have said a couple of times we understand we're the guinea pigs. We're the first ones through the door, so we're taking
Everybody
our
give you
lumps.
arrows sticking out of your back. Nick.
Yeah, fair enough. I called myself a pin cushion earlier. So based on that, we've made it, at least in our minds, clear that we anticipate the town holding the CR and holding the ownership of the open space. We understand there are other options. However, if I could be blunt, Mr. Chair, we feel it's the planning board's purview to tell us that they are not going to support that and we need to pursue others. We haven't received any official word from the planning board saying that you don't support the town holding the CR or taking ownership of that. We feel that certainly, we understand someone has to own the land. We understand a CR has to be drafted. We're not looking for a step-by-step procedure. We understand we're already through the door. We need to have some understanding on the other side as well, that we're saying town, tell us no, if that's the case. Right now, our only understanding is that a conversation between myself and the conservation agent is she was going to draft a letter suggesting that the town not take it. I haven't seen the letter.
We're in the same boat on that, Nick. And so, we're a little adrift.
Yeah.
We also share the arrows sticking out of us on this topic.
Fair enough.
We did have a fairly detailed conversation about ownership of land months ago, it seems like. I don't know that that the board has the purview to say, town, do this.
So,
And I apologize for not having
No.
looked into that between then and now.
well, I guess,
So-
again, we're trying to make something work. So,
Yeah.
similar to a road acceptance. Road acceptance petition, we want you to take this road. Comes to the planning board either votes to support it or deny it, goes to the selectmen,
Yep.
correct?
Yes, and I'm laughing because we
hand-
went through that with a road that's so old, it
Right.
needs to be repaved now.
Well, it's
Yeah,
interesting
it's
that
getting
way.
there.
So, can we handle that in this case? Because if the voting members of the board say, we've come up with subdivision that is a by right that's gonna create all these open space parcels and all these CRs all over town, what was the intention to do with those parcels when that zoning was created?
That is a very, very fair question.
It is the by right subdivision. The landowners have the right to divide their property, and as we just saw from an A&R earlier in the agenda, town zoning is 12,000 square feet in some areas. That's a pretty small lot. Granted, some of these are 7,000, 8,000 square feet on the open space. So you come to a standpoint of, Mark made a comment of there's a number of 20 acre or less parcels, but that's anybody that wants to put in a subdivision road is now going to be saddled with creating this CR and this open space parcel. So what is going to be done with those? I know we're a little late in the process, but I fully feel that something can be done, but we're kind of saying we need to do this in steps. First step is we'd like the town to take it. Do you support that? Please say yes or no, and then we can move on to the next step.
In all honesty, I cannot. I would hope that. So, I don't have an answer for you, Nick. A good one. either way, okay?
Mhm.
As the chairman of the planning board, and I don't know that the planning board itself would have an answer for you right now. I think the process to getting to that answer is to make it a priority for us to work with the town manager on it. And you very eloquently put the problem right now in front of us, and we represent it to the town manager that way. The challenge here is the conservation restriction, if I recall, on the plans runs across the access that goes back to the detention area, correct?
Correct.
Okay. There were concerns about parking and other, we provide access to open space for town folk that often comes with other amenities like parking and stuff like that. I don't know that this plan has anything along those lines in it.
Nope.
Okay. Just
No,
refreshing my memory. So.
Yeah, it was a suggested
Yeah.
from the
Exactly.
conservation is in their findings and the conservation analysis, being that the same reasons that potentially, again, it's a rumor and a conversation, but the same reasons that conservation agent, she could speak for herself, but my understanding of the conversation is not supporting the town taking it, is the same reasons we said, why would we want public access for people to walk around in a small piece of land that's surrounded by, in her words, fence on one side and a large hill on the other.
I don't think we have a resolution on this right now, to be honest with you. Can we pick up the other items that you have and see where we go with those?
Sure.
Please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I just not in a position to give you the answer. Unfortunately, I am also a pioneer,
Yeah.
or the board is currently pioneers with this.
Well, I guess, again, I'm asking tonight for the board to take a straw vote or action on a recommendation on whether or not they would support the town taking it.
Thank you.
Similar to us going, I fully fine talking with the town manager, selectmen and things like that, but again, that's a much different conversation if the planning board says, no, we're not interested in it. Versus, we are gonna have these all over town. Again, please stew over that as we go over some of these other
Thank you.
comments.
And I think actually the members will think about that.
Okay, thanks.
As you so eloquently put it, Nick. Twice in a night, man.
Hey, thanks. Maybe I'll take tomorrow off. Waste all the good
Take
ideas today.
that's 2 out of boys. Take yesterday off.
Take yesterday, all right. So,
You want me to, have you read,
Sorry.
you know the paragraph that you're talking about in the zoning regulations, right? The one that you're referring to?
yep,
It's called, it's at 10.18, permanent open space, paragraph C.
Yep.
The ownership of open space. So protected open space land may be held in private ownership, owned in common by a homeowners association, dedicated, and this is dedicated to the town or state governments with their consent. Transferred to a nonprofit organization acceptable to the planning board or held in such other form of ownership as the planning board finds appropriate to manage the open space land and protect its conservation value. So there's many options there, but you're basically saying, we as an applicant say, this is the option we want to take.
correct.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to point that out to the
And
planning
thank you,
board,
and
that
that's
there
how I
are
understood
many
it.
options here.
Yeah, and it kept confirming to my mind that a homeowners association will not be set up because the road is going to, go ahead, Nick.
So, a homeowners association may be set up. We're not saying it can't be done. It's not
Yep.
done right now. It's not in the intention because we're asking the town to take it.
Yeah.
The town does not want it. The planning board finds, as Mr. Diskin read, it's not appropriate in this case. Then we have to come up with another option.
Yeah, and typically, people think of homeowners associations as being all-encompassing, people own things in common, and they're not like that. There's many different types of homeowners associations, some for specific use, like this. Other homeowners associations would be for plowing the road. And then there are other associations, typically referred to as condominium associations, where everything's owned in common and you pay your fair share. So there's different ways of slicing that. And while you were talking about the town taking it, this is what I'm thinking about. So there's other options here.
Yep,
But, okay, great.
100%.
What else did you have?
Just going through number 4, the applicant shall comply with the conditions of the order conditions, general conditions.
This is General conditions
sorry.
A, got it, that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Page 3, yeah.
I don't know if it's appropriate for the planning board to rely and encompass another approval by a board
Yes,
within their appeal, within their approval.
I think that language is around. Yes, that's.
Yes, we've done that in prior site plan applications. We
Some of
have,
these-
we haven't done that for
might-
subdivision.
Might be going, will also be, or be taken out of this and go, they're gonna be duplicated with the site plan approval as well. So one seems inappropriate for one, it'll be in the other, either way.
Okay,
General
so
condition in that.
we interrupted Nick. Nick,
Sorry.
explain what you're looking for here. Here, so I can-
Basically, this is saying that this approval is incorporating
Mhm.
all conditions of another board.
The Air Conservation Commission.
Correct.
Thank you.
Which also means that if they impose conditions which make this unbuildable, so will the planning board. Lawyer talk, it's unconstitutional to put your approval dependent on another board's approval. So my question is again, I'm trying to just use examples. If someone does work within the buffer zone past the limit of work, outside the order of conditions, which requires action by the conservation or their agent, is that action also mirrored by the planning board? By that wording in the approval, I would say that it does. So an enforcement order from the Conservation Commission have process to be removed, it's filing a notice of intent. What would that process be for the planning board?
It'd be the zoning enforcement officer and participate.
But again, similar to some other
I'm curious
comments.
about that because it's
That's a good legal question.
It's
and
a
I
really
think,
good question.
It's similar to if they cut too much down, just trying to stick in massive terms.
yeah. I
So-
can think
someplace.
of one.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. But it
Does
wasn't
the zoning
residential.
enforcement order, the zoning enforcement officer pull a building permit? Hold the bond for the road
I
construction?
don't know what the. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, I've been in front of you for another application for, someone in town where people were complaining and there was, that's the building inspector's purview, this is that. My only point is bringing in those conditions, try to mush the two approvals together.
Leave that to Mark to recommend to us what he thinks on that, since he presented these conditions to us.
Right.
Good question.
Yeah. I'm now thinking it might be good to try to set up a meeting with council and, for that issue as well as the open space issues and the other things that have come up. Because I can't definitively answer it at the moment. But it's been standard practice in the board to cross-reference other approvals to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Other things, Nick.
Just going through, sorry.
I'm sorry, I was.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. The rest
C.
is like pretty boilerplate. Go ahead, yeah.
C number 2 again.
Yes,
The
yes.
planning board can't do anything until the Conservation Commission signs off. All endorsements shall be.
To be honest with you, I understand that there's a commission, a board and a commission here,
Yeah.
but I would be surprised if you started the work before you had the order of conditions.
No, 100%.
Yeah, okay, good.
It's-
Just,
I agree. Some of the special conditions as we go through those,
where are you now?
special conditions E prior to planning board endorsement. The fire department must approve the sweep analysis. Number 1, number 2, meet with the superintendents to discuss bonding. Actually, I don't have a problem with that, sorry. Number 1, the revised plans have been submitted. I'm assuming they've gone to the same people that have commented on it initially. So I guess that leaves my question. I think I asked Mark on a phone call earlier today. Is that directing the applicant to go and ask the fire chief for a closed application, or is that something that Mark's going to do? Again, that's endorsement of the plan. That's down the road.
This actually brings to mind, because we, if I recall correctly, we left this, that you weren't gonna do a lot of work on it until we had a lot of the conditions in place, you were gonna do a next set of plans.
Yep.
And those plans have taken place.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Let's see,
Okay.
bonding, that's typical.
So the question is, do you follow up with the fire chief, or does the plan follow up?
I mean, right now, we combined all the outstanding letters, revised, the previous meeting.
And you actually feel that, to your best of your abilities, you met his needs for the sweep analysis?
Yeah, we actually reran the analysis and show that it works and things like that. So,
Okay.
it's one of those things where we said we'd revise the plan, we revised the plan.
Yeah.
Do we have to go knock on the door, or is that kind of a process that
You should
happens?
send us a letter back. That he's on board.
Email,
Yeah.
something like
That's
that.
what we should have, is a letter from him. that
Typically,
says
Yeah, the
advise
fire
us.
department should, well,
Well,
they're getting involved, you know,
Right, we
in
should
previous,
be getting letters from all the town
right, in
departments.
previous history, you know, they're probably not used to giving us letters immediately upon their review of something that we ask them to look at.
Can you please
But
check?
I have no problem contacting the fire chief.
Please check with
to-
Chief Pedazzi.
Yeah, I'll
Thanks.
check with him, yeah.
We'll move that along for you as quick as we can.
3, again, written documentation, ownership, that's fine. Again, there's 2 processes that are actually gonna have to happen per the regulations. One is the definition and the setup of the ownership, if the town decides or, not to support it taking it. But also is the creation of a CR. CR is a document that has a lot of legal language around it. It also has, similar to the A&R plan, a plan that will be endorsed by the planning board. I haven't got to that part. I don't know if that's included in these conditions, but that should certainly be part of, or at the same time, of plan endorsement.
Part of the endorsement of the final plan. exactly.
Typically, the
We would hope
CR,
it all would be together.
right, well, typically a CR is drafted by legal counsel,
Yeah.
provided to legal counsel, and reviewed, sometimes there's back and forth, things like that, and that generally shakes out a plan in a pretty thick document.
And that document becomes recorded with the process. It's also a recorded document in the process.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. Document special assignment, that's provided. Number 5, a tree protection plan. Stated February 1st, recommendation by the Conservation Commission and reiterated in the BSC group. I thought we addressed that on the conditions of the erosion sediment control sheets. What exactly entails of a tree protection plan is silent within the regulations, so while I'm fine with trying to protect trees,
We're talking about the standard of 2x4s wrapped to a tree, trees, limits of work being away from trees.
right, so the limit of work, as shown in the limit of clearing is the limit of vegetation clearing, it's not the limit of actual tree clearing. So that limit of work, again, I know I want to separate board and commission, will be reviewed by the conservation agent, any modifications be approved prior to any real disturbance and earthwork happening. I know there's a site plan application.
And I would ask, is it our purview for tree protection?
Oh, yeah.
Conservation?
We were supposed to, I thought, receive either a narrative or something in regards to that section 9.6 that we talked about, which is the site plan requirement that we agreed
Right,
with.
yes.
So if that's been
Yeah,
done.
GPR did give us a letter addressing all those comments, which they updated in a plan sheet on the subdivision
And
plan.
then it's done.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So my comment then would be that if it's done, if it's part of the set, it's done.
okay, yeah.
That'd be fine as well.
I personally have no problem striking that one if that's going to be a sticking point.
Okay.
6, to pay the outstanding
That's
for the
number
peer
5
review.
on the special.
Under special.
6 would be fine, we understand we have to pay for the peer review. 7, the final plan, to modify that, again, that was on the revised plans, as all easements, not only the one on 10 and 11, but we actually reviewed all easements to make them 20 feet wide.
Fantastic, thank you. I actually, I started this, and
Yeah.
somewhere else I saw in here, they refer to as-bills.
Yep.
I just want to make sure we're not doing what Ayer's been so good at for the last 30 years.
What's that?
One part of the zoning bylaw says do this, the other part of the zoning bylaw says do that, and refer to the other one.
Yeah.
So let's just make sure that's cleared up.
All right.
Let's not be here when we're old and gray.
As you said, I'm younger than you, I'm probably still gonna be dealing with it.
Like I said, Nick, I want to be there too, okay?
All right, fair enough.
Okay. And the bond as determined by the DPW?
Yep, that's typical
Yeah.
of the construction cost. Applicant resubmitted dewatering under F.
Mhm.
Sign off planning and conservation, again, that's more of a conservation purview. I would certainly feel fine sending it to DPW and/or planning. It's just I'd like to kind of request a lead on that rather than have three yeses.
I would say the lead should be DPW, since they have the technical expertise to evaluate dewatering.
That'd be fine. Could we say DPW rather than the superintendent? I hope Mark's fine, but Dan's pretty competent as the town
Right,
engineer as
yeah,
well.
we could say.
Yeah, it starts with the superintendent, he can pass it off.
Yeah.
Fair
I'd
enough.
leave the superintendent.
All right.
No, that's fine. Dewatering activities, resources. Again, yeah, that's going to be said in the conservation.
Mhm.
Dewatering, compliance with the SWIP, shore, representative town air. The review of subsequent modifications of the plan associated with. Hold on, what does number 5 of the F say? Shall meet with the town planner and the DPW following the completion of permitting review with the Air Conservation Commission to review any subsequent modifications to the approved set. That just to try to catch any revisions the Conservation Commission may request.
Right, yeah.
My read of
Just
that
see
was
it.
basically if conservation gives you something to do, let's make sure DPW is on board with it. And yes, I understand that it's probably not your shoulders that you should rely on, but I would appreciate a little bit of support on this one. Because you're gonna be the guy who's sitting here frustrated at the end of the day, okay?
Yep.
We're getting better as working together,
Mm-hmm.
we really are.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Number 6, the engineer will evaluate, again, this is an opinion.
Mhm.
I'd look to get rid of that, other than that's an ongoing conversation. We can certainly provide any comments, but again, that's something that's easily moved, the goal line.
I think we can just, what happens if we just take out the second part of the first sentence, which is, and if any adverse impacts are demonstrated, just say the applicant engineer will evaluate the impact of peak discharges from the 124 storm events, and a revised stormwater report was submitted for the review and approval prior to commencement of site work.
Again,
So that, we know that it's been looked at, and if needed, and then put the word if necessary or something like that, a revised stormwater report. May not need a revised stormwater report.
I like where you're going. It's just, as I mentioned before, it's a large wetland system that's seeing things in the 100-year event. Large wetland systems, how much impact and how much analysis would be needed to overcome. We're talking about a 20% raise, less than a half of an acre foot within a watershed, square miles large.
This is where the BSC thing, we have to make a decision on whether we accept their comment on the same issue.
Yep. We can certainly get back to that, as well as the initial request.
You want to question that one? Do you want to finish any?
Sure, I mean, that's really, along with the ownership or the planning board support, that's really the big ones. Prior to any building permit being issued, the cluster mailbox being installed, that's a little bit hard to get a cluster mailbox. We're asking for a building
I think
permit
it's supposed to be
when
occupancy
road
permit.
is,
It's supposed to be occupancy
Yeah.
permit.
okay,
Yeah, that's occupancy permit.
That's occupancy.
beautiful.
Okay.
Sorry about
That changes a lot of
Yeah,
things.
sorry, that's
Yeah.
that's-
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, I was gonna say.
No, that,
Okay, yeah, check that.
see that goes away, I shut up
And
now.
don't back into it, will
Yeah,
you?
right.
Yeah, you got
Doing
it.
the work.
Yeah.
All right.
Swing the excavator the other way. Yeah. But no, really the two sticking points is the analyzing of the,
Yeah, I'm rereading BSC's work on that right now.
yep.
You guys have anything?
No, thank you for asking.
Is there,
You wanna listen to-
the lighting,
I'm sorry?
is
If
the
any other
lighting,
board members have any comments?
Yeah, actually, according to that, please.
is the lighting covered in the definitive plan?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that was the last one we discussed, back and forth.
Right,
the,
right.
streetlight.
It's in scope.
Yes.
There's streetlights, and also a note that they have to be compliant with the town's control system. There was something brought forth by the applicant offline directly to DPW, if you remember,
Right.
about removing those.
Right. And the
That would
homeowners
that would
control.
have to be something that would be pursued further, and then they would have to come back as a minor request
Okay.
or a minor modification. There has been some talk about proposed individual owner-owned lights. That would take the burden of paying for the electricity off the town and put it on the homeowner. There's also some preliminary talks about potentially having the light, the street light near the kiosk, the mail kiosk, being done by solar power. Again, that would remove the burden of cost from the town. But right now, we're just going with a typical system until we actually have more of a full proposal. That's where we're leaving it.
Then the right-of-way to the, Russ talked at last meeting about cleaning out these stormwater management systems.
Yep.
Right. The right-of-way to that is included, it's down a driveway.
It's actually between two houses.
Okay.
Yep. But also what was discussed publicly at the last meeting was the DPW's support of having the road accepted, as well as his statement that any road that gets accepted, catch basins within the road would be under the purview and maintenance of the DPW director. We brought up the maintenance of the sediment forebay, the drainage swale, and the infiltration basin, and there was a couple of different options that Mr. Wetzel eloquently put forth as: one, the town takes it; two, the homeowners association takes it, which he did after a large chuckle due to kind of them not doing it; and the third being that the town take it, but at the time of conveyance, a multi-year
Call it an escrow.
escrow, that's the best word, that's better than the word that popped into my head initially. Escrow set up, I think Mark said typically 5 years, I think Mr. Diskin threw out 10, I don't know, he just said that was bigger, that was longer. To which, would set up an escrow set up to pay for that, help the DPW as far as the taxes being involved. That was the third option. Again, love to have the town take it.
How many
So
bases
that-
are we talking about back to?
Catch basins?
Yeah,
Well, you denied the one where we would have cut them down.
yeah, I know.
So there are 3 catch basins and 2 manholes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
But should that,
It wasn't the number 1250 floating for that?
Yeah.
It was 12, it was something around there, but that included also the mowing of the infiltration basins, the
Thank you.
reseeding, things like that.
Because I think 1250 is out of whack with, sorry, Mark, but 1250 is out of whack with 3 and 2.
Yeah.
should
Something like
should
that.
that be a condition that we reference this option, that the acceptance of the road,
Yes.
so someone doesn't forget it in the future?
Yes.
And we might have, he says, so in that, we'd have to enter some figures into that at this point in time.
I think that that's certainly something that Mr. Wetzel, similar to setting up the performance bond, knows the numbers a little bit more to
But I
date.
don't want that to get lost, that's all.
He's going to understand data, he's also going to understand the technology you're using, what it takes to keep it clean.
Correct.
I mean, I work with very old catch basins, and I'm like, if I could, that's many years of work,
Yes.
so. But I'm not in any way disparaging the work that DPW has done. Okay, so we've got some open issues. Other comments from the board? On this right now.
No comments.
I've got one or two.
I'm sorry?
I got a couple.
Okay.
Under special conditions, the number 7, I don't know why I have the word in parentheses, not as-built. I think it's pretty clear that the final set is not an as-built. You just take that.
Yeah,
out.
Okay,
Final
yeah,
set.
sure.
And with electronics being what they are today, it's getting easier and easier to do it.
Yeah.
And then at the very end,
Final plans.
we picked up the
Yeah.
occupancy permit.
Excuse me for a minute, and I'm hoping that our building inspector, the final certificate of occupancy does not go until the plans are done.
No.
That's actually,
I'm sorry, this is not homeowners association.
That's not.
That's correct. Road's not accepted until we have it then, so it'd be DPW. We have to find, the triggering event's going to be The last thing, okay.
So similar to Mark coming last week with the 8 or 9 streets he came before you with, that's the trigger.
But you just brought up a valid point, and this is something that I've been trying to figure out. We have no control beyond the subdivision, right, the subdivision and the construction of the road in that right of way, let's say. However, so they go out there and it takes them forever to put in the street trees and all this other stuff. How do we control the sequence so that, you know, you go to bind, typically you go to binder and you go to the, you know, you put the Cape Cod berm or you're putting on the granite, and then things might just stop until all the lots are sold and develop. So really
I would actually be surprised if anything more than binder went down until a fair amount of the.
But I'm talking, I think there should be something that says, you know, we get the plantings in place and the street lighting in place and things like that, so it just doesn't linger till sometime in the future.
Yeah, you're gonna.
So we're never late to the last occupancy permit, is what I'm getting at.
We can't, but go ahead, Nick.
So, break that up for you. If we stick with the streetlights, because all electricity is underground.
Be careful what you say.
All right.
But go ahead, yeah.
The electricity that's proposed is underground. The service provider actually is going to require extra conduit for those streetlights. Whether or not the actual installation and turning them on, that's a whole different item. Forgot where I was going, sorry.
You're trying to make a point that
triggering
we
event.
know that you're trying to make a point that the trenching is going to be installed, the conduit's going to be installed,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean the finish is installed. The
Sorry.
bases are installed. So we have a case right now, we have light pole bases in a subdivision that we're still looking at, looking for the lights.
Yeah,
That's like 15 years old.
well, that's where the performance bond comes in. That's where the performance bond needs to be big enough where you can say, that's it, we're taking it over. Now, that has some other legal ramifications, that's what the performance bond is too.
Yeah. And this one may be in a situation where we took lots in lieu of performance bond, which we're
This one
moving away
doesn't
from
say,
very quickly.
this one,
No, the one you're talking about, maybe.
oh yeah, sure.
That we took surety as opposed to
Right, I
cash.
understand that.
Okay.
You understand my concern.
I totally get it.
We want to, if it's a 23 lots, 20 lots, 19 lots, whatever it is, we don't want it to hang and hang and hang until.
Well, you know, there's also a financial benefit
It's
to have
benefit to the
those in.
developer to finish it.
Correct.
Look at-
Until it's done, your road won't be accepted. Until the road is accepted, it's the responsibility of the developer.
Right.
And as the responsibility of the developer, anybody that owns anything,
But we have an example right now
Yeah.
where, you're familiar with it, there's subdivisions in town that have no street lighting.
yeah,
As soon as the people moved in, they called the town hall and said, you know, when the light's gonna go in? Well, there was no any lights installed. So let's say we had 10 houses out there that were done, and the economy slows down, and it's, wait a minute, it's gonna wait off. We don't want those 10 people to be penalized. That's gotta be some sequence that ties in
Right.
after the completion of, he's got his hand up, he doesn't have to do that.
I
but
do.
A certain sequence, maybe a phase thing that said, you know, that after
Well,
the 11th.
it's a difficult thing, and I appreciate phasing, but phasing comes in a situation where it's a multi-unit.
Yeah, I'm throwing it out there.
Or an economy, or the economy.
Yes.
And right now, I know that you're working hard on revising your subdivision rules and regs.
Yeah,
Town does not require streetlights.
I understand that.
Okay,
I was the one
so
to put it into the regs.
We know that.
that's perfectly fine. So-
We
I'm
understand.
sure that you're well aware,
We
so
got fully-
unfortunately, sometimes the answers to when the streetlights are going in are
Yeah.
not required.
We'll send those calls to you.
I like to say in the office, I got a bag full of those and I'm handing them out like candy, so.
But
So,
I just have this little apprehension about, you know, the.
So I want to put this on the shoulders of the DPW also. What is a triggering event for the plans?
Which, the plans?
You see, Bob, the conversation started with what are the triggering events for when the developer has to perform. In a situation where it's a condominium association, sometimes it takes a long time for the units to sell. That road's the developer's problem until he hits the threshold, be it 90%, 100%, or whatever it is. He gets to the 100% threshold, then the town says, I got this thing for you, give me the plans. And they have to be as accurate as possible. And the town meets with them and goes through it.
Yeah, the as-built.
That's as-built or whatever, exactly. When it's going to be a certain number of singly owned, individually owned properties, that doesn't exist.
Okay.
And it behooves the developer not to put the final road in before final construction.
Right.
Because it gets beat up.
We have requirement for as-built for the construction of the road and stuff
Yeah.
about the subdivision. But so here's another example. We spend untold hours here with consultants and peer reviewers on the stormwater,
Mhm.
okay? When you put in the binder, they typically leave the frames high, water runs right around them. How do we know? Shouldn't there be some sequence, maybe conservation does this, that the attenuation basin should be constructed and seeded and ready to go and piped so that at least things are in place to collect the stormwater during construction outside of the dewatering. We're talking about dewatering, that's important, but this whole scheme of just things that could look bad for a long time, but we don't control it. It's off the street.
Yeah,
We do it.
yeah, and
Conservation, I guess.
I'm
is
going
up
to
them.
leave silt sacks up to the Conservation Commission.
So everything off that.
It's outside our purview.
Right.
It's an imperfect world, but silt sacks exist. Silt sacks exist for a reason.
Right. So all I'm looking for
They're big
is some,
porous bags
if
that
there's-
sit in catch basins.
I just want to consider, have Mark consider if there's a way to put something in there that
Yeah.
gets us to the point where we feel that, you know
Okay.
what, if there's only 10 houses in here, and it's still,
Mark Wetzel.
this
Or Mark
Mark,
Gresham, okay.
leads us to a conclusion with, if he has to go to Mark Wetzel, that's fine, but
Okay.
so it comes back to us with some kind of a condition that says, that we'll expect to see the lighting done and the sidewalks done. Two perfect examples, a neighborhood, but it's only a partially complete neighborhood. But it's so small that you want the whole thing to work for people who move in.
If I could offer, you can tie it to the last occupancy permit.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
Typically
large
the way it
can of
works.
gas for a
Yeah.
developer.
Yeah.
He's looking to get out of there and get his money released and sell a house. And
If the last occupancy bit doesn't help the people that have been lived there.
Yeah,
If the thing slows down, that's my point. I think it should be tied to like occupancy number 10, of some number early in the process, like halfway through. That
Yeah, but if
says-
you put it halfway through, you got half the lots undeveloped that you're trying to put final landscaping in front of, or, certain
Well,
items.
we're only talking about the street, that's all we can control. Is that the right of way and the lighting and.
But
the-
again, we're not gonna drive over final asphalt to construct homes. that
Oh,
we're
no,
trying-
I understand.
You-
Yeah,
you-
but that's why it needs to be looked at, some sequence that's reasonable. Binder plus the lighting plus the sidewalks, or something like that. The tree plantings,
Yeah.
things like
And
that.
also, most of the time, a building inspector won't issue a building permit until your road's to binder, just for access,
Right, yeah, we understand that.
so.
It's just a thought.
Yeah,
It may not work.
I raised that issue with Mr. Wetzel about needing to, come up with, again, standardized timing for these improvements.
Mhm.
And he agreed that that needed to be done, but, for this particular set, there was not time to finalize everything. But, and I would say perhaps if we can't totally resolve all of these, but we need to act on the plan tonight, we could agree on the issues that we're not able to resolve in one evening tonight, to revisit them on October 8th perhaps.
When is our, November 5th is when this is runs up? Am I correct? When is the clock run out on this one?
It's already happened.
Thursday.
Thursday. thank
Yeah,
you.
that's Thursday, which is why
I'm confusing you with
the
another one.
planning board needs to at least make
Okay.
a vote on the plan. And my view is the conditions don't have to be absolutely final. I mean, the more final, the better. But if there are some unresolved issues, we can come back on the 8th with an understanding that we're gonna work out some of the timing of things that we agree need to be in there, but we don't have the resources like DPW here right now to do as good a job as we could on some of these conditions as we would with their input.
Okay. The issues, you can jump in whenever you want. Who's going to take the conservation restriction? Town or not? It's a conversation we have to have.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
going to unbundle planning board and conservation commission as needed throughout the language. 100-year storm issue. We're going to talk about that in a minute. What else?
We were going to try to add to the conditions, the provision for setting aside an escrow account for the taking over the.
Acceptance.
Yes,
After
exactly.
after road
Yeah.
acceptance.
Exactly.
That's easy.
To be honest with you, I would turn to our DPW and superintendent.
You know that.
Whatever he wants to do, I'm 100% behind him.
I
I'm sure
just
it's gonna
wanted-
be- I'm sure it's gonna be agreeable too.
I just think we should have it in there so we know it's there.
Exactly. I don't wanna be looking at a road 14 years later.
Right.
I would just,
Yeah.
I know that he threw out 5, Mr. Diskin threw out 10.
It's gonna be 10. 10 is better than 5.
Number of units?
No, number of years.
The number of years to set up that restaurant.
For 10 years.
Oh, for the attenuation? Let's see. what-
Cleaning.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for the catch basins, yeah. Well, I actually looked at 1250, 7.5 years ago. That's a lot of money.
No. That's gotta be like 1,500 a year for 10 years, something like that. Then you put an inflation factor on it.
You never had me do your
You
vacuum,
do all
did
this
you?
other stuff, and by the time
60
you get
bucks.
through, you got like 100
$60
grand.
bucks plus disposal. So, anyway, how quickly can we move on this stuff, Mark?
Well, as you know, I'll be out the rest of this week and next week. Bad timing, but I planned that months ago. But if you would like to meet with DPW and the applicants
I
prior
only
to...
have one more thing, and then I'm gonna make a motion.
Okay,
Go ahead.
but I was gonna say, I come back on Monday, October 7th. I'm willing to have a meeting with a representative of the planning board, applicant, DPW at that meeting. I know it's the day before the 8th, but hopefully we could work out what remains. But I'm fine with the planning board and DPW and the applicant getting together prior to that to work them out earlier if desirable.
What was your last point,
The only
please?
point, last point we didn't get to it was that very last paragraph, the very last thing. It talks about granite curbing shall be installed with the occupancy. I think that goes way up in the front someplace because it's gonna be on the drawings. If it's already on the drawings, we don't have to talk about it.
My understanding for the granite curbing is just, it's the radius, it's
Right.
along Littleton Road and the radius going 4 feet into the,
But that was already now on the plans, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it
Yes.
doesn't really need to be here at all.
Yeah, it's just to make sure they get done whether it's on the plan or not. It's probably
Okay,
best to
great.
keep it in the conditions.
Okay, but not
So
where,
it's done prior to,
I don't think it belongs with occupancy permits, that's all. I think it
no,
belongs-
it's under, permit building permit being
It's under prior to
Well,
any
it's
occupancy.
changed that to
Change that to
occupancy.
Change the
occupancy.
occupancy?
Oh, yeah, we're changing it to occupancy.
That's all I need
That
to
was
make.
my
I can do that.
mistake.
Yeah, so now we gotta move that to somewhere else, that's all.
Okay.
No big
Yeah,
deal.
so I can do that, it's fine.
and you're gonna record the fact that there's an E1 in each house with a D.
Yeah, I wrote that.
Mention,
Let's write that
mention an
one,
E1 or a pump system.
Pump system.
Try not to call it E1 because they'll probably won't stop existing and
Yeah, right.
everyone will have to go back to the registry every time they change out the piece of plumbing in their basement.
So
I will-
they're responsible for their own pump station
Yes.
up to the sewer lateral connection that's at the curb stop
And I
essentially.
mean, there is no intermediate pump station in the division,
No, there's a flushing valve within the right of way.
which was required by the
Correct.
DPW. Okay,
Well, for the E1 design, so.
for the one design, but that's it. But the force for the force main is coming from the individual pumps and the individual units.
Correct, the
you.
systems themselves are
Yep.
the responsibilities of the homeowners.
Yep. Okay. Mark's not gonna, Mark Archambault is not gonna be available. I can be available by phone. I will, do my best to see if we can move this along. I will not be here after Thursday,
Until,
the 10th.
I'll step in on the 7th to be with you if necessary to help on the work on the conditions.
Yeah. and-
Right, yeah, we could set up a meeting for the
Okay,
7th.
can we jump around and talk about the 100-year event real quick?
The what?
We were going to talk about that, yeah. That was my last piece. Go ahead. So, the VSC's recommendation that we do the 100-year event. If I read that correctly, it says that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts doesn't require 100, correct?
The Commonwealth of Mass, the Wetlands Protection Act, the Stormwater Management says that we have to attenuate the peak rate discharge in the 2 and 10-year event. And if said analysis of the 100-year event shows an increase in the rate, then we have to analyze flooding impacts. That is verbatim the requirement. So our question is,
I don't understand that enough, I'm sorry, Nick.
what's that?
I don't understand the increased rate piece. I'm not an engineer.
No, okay, so think of it this way. You have your bathroom sink,
Yep,
and you got your bathroom tub.
yep,
The drain on both of those right now, of the sink, is one size.
it's an
Well,
inch.
you want to make it a bigger
Yeah.
a tub. It will hold more water, right? More impervious surfaces go to it. The drain for all intents and purposes, post-development, once it becomes a tub, has to let out the same or less water than it was when it was a sink. Is that easy enough to follow? Okay. So that's measured in CFS, or cubic feet per second. It's a flow rate.
Yeah.
So right now, our analysis of the pre-development to that top left corner shows a rate in the 100-year event of 22.7 CFS. In the post-development, after we send all the water to the infiltration basin, the discharge, when it starts coming over the spillway, the emergency spillway, you know, people are in canoes and things like that, is a discharge of 25.8. So because the post-development is higher than the pre-development by 3 CFS, the state regulations say that we need to analyze or evaluate flooding impacts on the discharge point. That's it. That's all the requirement says. So sometimes that's a low bar from the standpoint of, okay, it's going over there. Are there flooding impacts there? If we're putting more water there, is it going to aggravate that flooding? If the water's getting there quicker, how big of a watershed does that receiving area have? As again, if it's a Flanagan Pond, Grove, and Plowshop Pond, we're talking about square miles of watershed. So something coming quicker, but being a volumetric increase from the site of 19,000 cubic feet in the 100-year event is minuscule when you're talking about watersheds. If I'm talking about 5 feet off of our property line, well, that's a different story. So this is where it's a moving bar or a moving goal that's easily overcome. There's no flooding impacts that are known. Yes, it is private property that's already developed. It has a wetland system that I showed you that flows to a river multiple hundred feet away that's then connected to ponds and other wetlands. It doesn't have a floodplain associated with it at its discharge, nor does that river. Again, these are the kind of the things, the first sniff of, is there a flooding potential impact? So would that increased discharge cause flooding? Well, I'd have to analyze all of Ayer, essentially. Or I could say it goes to a known water course. It doesn't go to someone's lawn.
So what I do in the situation is I call Dan.
Follow who?
Typically call Dan. And I explain to Dan what's going on, honestly.
Yeah.
And I take Dan because
Yeah.
that's the guy we usually, you know, Mark or Dan, typically Dan.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna ask him that question.
Okay.
Seriously.
No, that's fine.
I think that's, I understand a lot of things about development,
Yeah.
floodplain I don't.
Okay, fair
All
enough.
I know is I live 18 feet above Flanagan's Pond, don't do it.
All right.
Right on it, but it's 18 feet different.
If this produces 18-foot high wave,
Dude, you won't be able to find me either, okay?
no, I mean, I might win the Nobel Prize because they might want me in some desert areas.
Okay.
Excuse me, so
Yes,
if
sir.
I understand you correctly then, I'm gonna ask your patience.
Good.
There's no meaningful way of determining the potential flood impact of that 100-year event, 24 hours, et cetera, without first defining what the bucket is that water's going into.
Essentially, yes.
Is that right?
Yes,
That's what we're getting at.
correct.
And you're saying that in this situation, that bucket is undefined. Is it as you said, 5 feet out, or is it all of Ayer?
Correct.
Well, actually, I might say it a different way. The bucket is fairly well defined in that there's a channel that already exists. I think it's what you said.
Yes.
It's running into a system that is already concentrating water into Flanagan's, Balch, Shop.
Catacamug, Nog, Nashua, here in New Hampshire.
Which are currently managed by the dam system that the fire department opens and closes, but the DPW manages. I love this.
So to me, the germane issue of this is this water going to run into the abutting property or not? Isn't that fundamentally what the question is?
Yes.
Correct.
And
Yes,
The
water
answer is
flows
it will.
downhill, yes.
it will go into the
It
private
will
property.
go down onto the private property, and it will continue within the drainage system, the natural wetland area and drainage channel that's on that system where all of this water from the development currently goes. At least that portion. You are correct.
And we're increasing the discharge by 3 cubic feet per second.
Oh, that's the rate, correct. Volumetric wise, again, flooding, you look at, there's 2 points of flooding. One is volume, the amount of water, and how fast it gets there.
Yeah.
So we're saying that we're causing more water to get there quicker.
What's
enough.
the,
The offset in volume,
yeah, so let's say the difference in ratio.
pre-development is 89,000 cubic feet going to that corner. Post-development is 108, so the difference is just under 19,000 cubic feet, or 20%.
Cubic feet per,
Just cubic feet, it's a volume.
okay, thank you.
Yep. So you look at cubic feet, again, flooding impacts, right now, they get 90,000. They're gonna get 110, using just gross over numbers.
That's in the 100-year situation they talk.
100-year, yep, something that statistically is only supposed to happen once every 100 years.
Or every 7 or 10 these days.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the other thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's okay.
well,
But we don't-
actually,
Unfortunately, we don't have that
Yeah,
time.
until
I
the
get it,
Actually,
I understand.
just
I get it.
to really geek out on you on the engineering, this drainage design was actually done using those increased rainfall events.
We talked about
The Wetlands Protection Act actually only requires 6.5 inches in the 100-year event. We actually designed this, I think, on 8 something. You remember that number off the top of your head? 7, 9 something. Basically, there's a NOAA and a Northeast Regional Climate Change Atlas 14 Cornell study. There's a bunch of, the title of it actually has extreme precipitation, which I disagree with, but that's what we actually used in here.
Okay. So
Is there
yeah,
gonna be an increase if I use the 6.5? Probably. But quantitatively, I'm looking at the more of the straight face test. I'm getting a 20% increase. We're not doubling the water that's flowing there, we're not tripling it, we're not multiplying or tenfolding it. As far as Mark's input, and Dan, he's knowledgeable. That's fine. If we can go with that, that's fine. Also, in full disclosure, Mr. Chair, it's my understanding that the action that's required by Thursday is actually the filing of the decision, not the vote tonight. If that doesn't happen, then we go to the last set of plans that were submitted, which we think are final plans anyways. In the spirit of continuing to work together, we actually have an extension to October 10th.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, with you not being here, that puts us down a vote and quorum potential issues. So we'd still love to work with the town. It's just, are we delaying an inevitable?
It's a good question. We've got a couple items on the table that I can. I think now you and I would be happy with the answers we gave in a vacuum this evening.
Yep.
So. So we are at a point where any other further?
Just one more clarification on the last comment that they made, and find out if Mark agrees with that, that if we vote tonight in the affirmative, that the decision has to be filed before unless we get another extension. It's gonna take, you're not gonna be here, so there's no
Right, yeah,
practical way
not until the
that
8th.
that decision is gonna be
right.
typed up and written.
Yes,
So we actually have to we might have to get an extension beyond the next the meeting for the decision to be filed correctly with the town clerk. Because he's not gonna be able to type it between now and then. Is that what you're getting at? He's saying he's gonna get constructive approval. He hasn't used that word, but what he's basically saying
That's what
is,
the-
if we don't
yeah.
vote on this tonight,
Yeah, we don't
it's
want
constructively
constructive
approved on Thursday.
No,
That's basically what we're saying.
If the decision, is legal counsel that I've had experience with, is the decision recorded with the town clerk is action by the board, not a vote.
Oh, I understand that.
Yes.
So-
Right.
We know
Yes.
that.
No action happens, the time comes, it's constructive approval.
Yeah,
Potentially,
With the
yes.
last set of plans.
Even if it's voted down,
Yeah.
it has to be
right.
So-
Yeah,
given to the clerk.
I don't like that option,
So,
constructive approval.
Of course, none of us like it.
Huh?
None of us like it.
No.
so I'm sitting here in a position of, I'm hearing that would need to work out the wording to protect the town and the developer in the final decision, which is fully understandable.
I think there's benefits for both sides.
Correct. However, it still brings up the point, knowing that one of the members isn't going to be here for the 8th as well. The extension, if granted, would be structured to be a couple of days after the next meeting, the 10th rather than, exactly at the 8th. So unfortunately, I would give Mark Monday and the 8th. They're drafted up to be endorsed by the planning board on the 8th. So it would still give time, but again, I think this would be, if granted, would be the 3rd extension. We understand.
Who's counting?
Let me just,
Me.
I'm gonna just back that up again. Heather, you can tune in if you need. So if we vote tonight, and we take the vote to the town clerk, isn't that, the decision of the board has been approved at that time and sent to the clerk, but the conditions in the final sign-off have not occurred.
No.
You're saying that with the full-blown conditions and the endorsement have to be done before it
Had to be
goes,
done.
even the,
Had to be done before, we had to be done before Thursday. I'd have to be sent to the clerk by Thursday when the extension ran out.
Which is typically end of business day for the town clerk. Because, just to follow up on that, Mr.
We
Diskin,
tried to do it early because it's time takes.
once it goes to the town clerk, it's available to be appealed, not only by the abutters, but also the applicant.
yeah, right?
So, when we appeal it, we're not appealing whether or not you said yea or nay tonight, it's, what's attached to that.
Right.
yea or
Okay,
nay.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that case,
And we're talking Thursday, the 10th, or Thursday this week?
Right now, it's this week.
Thursday this week. yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So we need to get an extension to like the middle of next month. And then we can, if you want.
You can still close and vote tonight
Yes.
with deliberations.
There's gonna be some unknown answers this evening.
Right.
Okay, and like I said, that's what I was trying to list, the unknown answers. Okay, and again, they are who will own conservation and restriction, unbundle conservation commission and the planning board.
Yeah. Escrow account.
Escrow account, which will be set up. The proponent is in no way arguing that point at all.
I mean, we'd like to further discuss the number of years, but,
I
yeah.
think that's gonna be part of the discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know what their, I mean, I bought a lot of vacuum over the years for a lot of different places. But the guy loved me because he just couldn't do it. And the final piece is the 100-year event.
Review by the DPW.
Reviewed by the DPW.
I think, in my
We can
view,
make
a
a
motion could be made
Yeah.
to approve, to act on the subdivision with the conditions as presented and modified, with those 4 items that you just mentioned as being to be resolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
I
Are you
would
not
not
in tomorrow
to
at all?
vote on
Correct.
conditions as presented in
Okay.
case additional ones have to come in. We do have, additions of moving some from one part to another, adding the pumps, and any items that might come up when it goes to Mark Wetzel for review. So I would help on voting on anything as far as conditions go, but voting on the actual subdivision and waiting on the conditions.
Nick, were you gonna?
I was just gonna say that, the ownership of the CR and the open space parcel, this needs to be something determined per the Ayer zoning,
Yes.
applicable to the application. That doesn't need to be decided prior to taking action and making that. That can be a standard condition prior to endorsement of the plan.
Yeah.
Whereas, review of the 100-year.
100-year, those are things we just gotta get nailed down.
Yep.
As quickly as we possibly
Right.
can.
Yeah.
And the escrow, we understand there'll be some amount for escrow, but,
Yep.
you know,
And I
we'll
forgot
let you
the
guys
fourth
go
one.
behind closed doors and yell at each other.
And I forgot the 4th one, jeez. I know there's 4, but we said 3 of them. It was the second one.
The CR, unbundling.
That one needs to happen.
Right.
I agree with you on that one.
Okay.
Okay. Would someone like to make I would entertain a motion? Other questions?
Yeah.
We're getting lost in the detail. Go
I
ahead.
know Ken earlier mentioned he had a motion in mind.
Please go.
Well, if anyone else has a motion on it.
You make the easy
you go
motions.
for it.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that the Town of Air Planning Board approve the John Carroll Reserve Open Space Residential Development definitive subdivision plans in accordance with the documents that have been submitted for property owned by LR Properties LLC off Littleton Road, Route 2A, parcels 30, map 36, parcels 3, 21, 22, and 24, including the waivers requested as shown in the draft notice of decision presented by Mr. Archambault, and including conditions that are further delineated in the draft by Mr. Archambault. I guess there's a date on it. We should talk about the date, right? Doesn't have a date on it.
It'll be
Effective.
September 24th.
Today, the 24th. And the general conditions and special conditions further to be, those special conditions and those special conditions and general conditions to be further delineated, agreed upon
Right.
by the applicant, the planning board, and the DPW. Make sense?
I think it covers it.
So moved.
Got that, Heather?
We'll get it off the video.
Second.
Right, yeah.
Motion, move and seconded. Any further discussion on this?
Do we need an extension?
I'm sorry?
An extension wasn't included in that. Do we need
No,
an
we're
extension?
not actually asking the applicant for an extension at this point.
Not right now.
Not right now,
2
yes,
seconds.
at this point.
Um,
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I think the applicant has diligently given us a lot of work on this. And we brought in the peer reviewer,
Mhm.
we looked at traffic, we looked at the location of the units.
Mhm.
I feel that we've given the neighbors and the town, the full treatment here, as far as the best we can do. So I feel confident that the rest can be worked out, the conditions can be worked out between now and the final endorsement of the plans. So that's why I'm voting for it.
Appreciate that. Other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you very much. Nick, appreciate your patience.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, we
Yes, go
have to
ahead.
ask for the
Thank you.
extension.
No,
Yes.
that's actually, in honor, we appreciate taking the action tonight to give the town a little bit more time. I'd actually like to grant an extension for the board to take action and file that decision with the town clerk to October 10th, which is 2 days after the next meeting.
Thank you.
And
Should we
then review your
choose to
site plan.
Go
That
ahead.
was just the subdivision,
Right.
site plan.
There should be a motion on the section 9.6 site plan.
We just go off in an extension. So I have to make a motion to accept the extension
Um,
before we move to the next thing.
No.
No, it's granted by us.
That's
I
right.
we say
don't
thank you?
think you need a motion to accept. And about the site plan,
Can't you tell?
the conditions for the site plan are incorporated into the subdivision.
Which will just be copied into
So
that.
it's more of a formality to state that the board approves the site plan for section 9.6, land clearing and grading, as submitted. There'll be no conditions that are not listed already in the
I'll make a
conditions.
motion that the board accept the site plan for the John Carroll Reserve as submitted.
I would reference section 9.6. Oh,
Section 9.1?
No.
9.6, I'm sorry.
Ah.
In accordance with the requirement.
In accordance with the
Right,
requirements of
yes.
section 9.6. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Just one item, so
Yes?
Mr. Archambault has reviewed this, we haven't seen this particular change that I'm aware of,
right.
but it's included, and you reviewed it, and
Yes.
you're satisfied.
What, for 9.6?
Yes.
Yes, with their letter. Yep.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
Can I just make one?
We have to continue the hearing until the 10th.
Yeah,
until the
that's
next
what I
meeting.
say before, the hearing.
Sorry?
I was waiting for the hearing.
Yes, I know, until the next meeting. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry, Heather, I was listening to you while I was talking. What were you saying?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the motion for the continue the hearing.
Yeah, I accept the motion to continue
Thank
to
you.
the next scheduled meeting.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to,
Am I on the next one?
I don't know, but
Here,
I'm going to take, I'm going to ask if we can take a moment, please.
That
Yes.
sounds lovely.
Continue public hearing proposed zoning bylaw amendments for October 20th special town meeting is next on our agenda. If I don't miss my guess.
Mr. Chairman and Planning Board, rather than redo my presentation as I did on September 10th when we opened the public hearing, I just wanted to briefly discuss the warrant articles, or I should say the zoning bylaw amendments that I prepared prior to Mr. Manoy, given a presentation on the details of the form-based code that were advertised for this evening, which will entail a somewhat longer presentation. So I'd like to keep it somewhat short. Basically, the...
Well, I'm going to be brief as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, good.
All right.
Thank God.
No
Write that
10:30
down.
tonight.
All right, the First Amendment has to do with replacing the formula used to calculate the number of units in an OSRD subdivision with the requirements for a yield plan to do the same. A yield plan is similar to a preliminary subdivision plan, and it's really just meant to show how many lots you could get if you had to meet the underlying zoning requirements. And as I calculated, based on our two real-world examples, the use of the formula results in 40 to 80% more units than we would get in a conventional plan. And the whole idea of OSRD is to have those more closely aligned so that numbers are similar. That would give us the flexibility of having some bonus units for extra open space, affordable housing, which we cannot do now because the formula is too generous. So basically, there are no changes from the prior public hearing date, except to strike the word immediately in line 13, and that was at the recommendation of town council. Said you can't have immediately in there because that would mean that sort of implies the planning board would act outside of a regularly scheduled public meeting. So by striking the word immediately, it doesn't change anything. It says we accept it.
Thank you.
Then, so. I believe that this amendment will really help the town to get better subdivisions with less issues, and less common driveways.
Be careful what you say.
I know.
Someone will find a way. But thank you. No, the intent is to improve the improve the OSRD and what we currently have, and improve it for the town. Correct?
Yes. So for all these warrant articles, what the planning board would need to do tonight is to, after we discuss these, is close, and after Mr. Monahan gives his presentation, close the public hearing on the zoning bylaw amendments, and then refer the zoning bylaw amendments to the Board of Selectmen to place on the town meeting warrant for the October 28th special town meeting. Okay, so that is the action that would be needed to formalize these amendments.
Fantastic. Okay. Quick question, the OSRD changes that we have, Mr. Manoy, this is not something you have your table for, correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much. Okay, yes?
And Mark, have there been any changes to since the last time you presented public hearing, last meeting?
Right.
Any additional changes to the accessory apartments or the affordable?
Can we
or is
take
that-
these
those are
up?
different?
Let's take one,
Okay.
let's take these one at a time.
No,
please.
because I wasn't sure if they were bundled or not, I'm sorry.
We're gonna do them one at a time.
Yeah.
The open space section, the amendments to section 10.1 of the open space residential development. Okay, this is something we've already gone through and taken care of. I would take a motion, please, to accept.
I'll make a motion that the Ayer Planning Board accept the recommendation of the town planner for a proposed zoning amendment to section 10.1 of the open space residential development bylaw.
And I'll say amended September 10th.
Now, I'm gonna get to that.
Oh, okay, good.
That was the motion.
Okay, I need a second, please.
Second.
Moving seconded, any discussion?
Yes.
Thank you.
So the first thing is that date you wrote in blue was amended September 10th. Has anything changed since September 10th?
No, it has not.
So it's a long time from September 10th till today.
I know, but there was nothing I
You didn't
changed.
scratch the word immediately out since September 10th?
Oh, well, that was done on the 10th.
It was done on,
Yes.
okay, so all
Yeah,
of this
'cause
is
we got comments from town council, I think, like the 8th
prior
or
to
9th.
that?
So it was immediately prior to,
Right.
and that's, yes, right. So you could say, the recommendation would be to forward the proposed zoning bylaw amendment for section 10.1 to the selectmen to place on the town meeting warrant as reviewed on September 24th or something to that effect.
If you would like to, please do.
Excuse me?
If you would like to, please do.
Okay, so we have a motion though, open to approve this, and then, want me to amend the motion to include the request that the planning board forwarded the amendment change to the board of selectmen, their approval and inclusion in the October 28th special town meeting.
Thank you.
Well done. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Let's see, second on the list is add accessory apartments.
Again, in the red line version, that's not the warrant article form, those changes that are struck out in red were the recommendation of town council. What you see, the text in blue is the recommendation of council again to address the item that was struck out. There were no changes after the September 10th public hearing.
All right.
So that version is,
It looks like that those changes in blue are consistent with what we discussed in our last meeting, right?
right, yes. She recommended an affidavit be filed, and then some planning board members were wondering if that's, onerous or whatever. But my opinion is that, we really need a provision for accessory apartments in the town to help the town's affordable housing stock and for housing needs in general. And we try this out. If it seems to be unwieldy, we could always amend it in the future. But, if town council recommends something strongly, I tend to want to take their advice.
Accept the motion to accept. Entertain a motion.
I moved that we accept the accessory apartment section to add to the Ayer zoning board as amended September 10th, and forward to the Board of Selectmen for inclusion in the warrant for the town meeting of October 28th.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have some discussion.
Oh, okay, sure. Yes.
This, my understanding of the affordable housing needs in the town of Ayer, this will not impact the affordable housing, improve the affordable housing, because the affordable housing needs a deed restriction. And having an accessory apartment in your house, it's not gonna change the affordable housing impact in the town. It'll give you more places that are affordable,
This is exactly.
Right, yes, yes.
but it won't give you necessarily
Right, I should
help
make-
us in the affordable housing
And I do agree
requirements
with
in
you.
the town.
Yes.
And I do agree with you.
And I
Yes,
like the
that's
idea
true.
of things being more
Right.
affordable,
Yeah.
but I also am working on trying to get Ayer over the 10% of
Yeah.
so-called
Right, yeah,
deed
yeah.
restricted affordable housing.
So,
Um,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Diskin is correct, and I should have made the distinction between affordable housing with the small A and with the large A. The smaller A being, housing that's affordable, but it doesn't necessarily count towards that 10%.
We got it.
But I think both are needed, and certainly having accessory apartments as an option would enable senior citizens to stay in their large homes after their families move out, or young families to have their senior parents move in with them, that sort of thing.
So there's item number 4, if I can ask a question. the maximum gross floor area of the accessory apartment
Yeah.
shall not exceed 25% of the gross floor area of this existing dwelling, or 750, whichever is greater. So wouldn't it just automatically be 750 is the maximum?
No, whichever's greater.
So it's 25. Well,
It could
I
be
think it
less
might not
than-
be worded correctly. so-
In a very small house, it could be,
No,
yeah,
It should be
No, I
what's
think it's
less.
worded incorrectly.
I see where Ken's going. He's
It said-
asking if the wording's right.
Right, so
Okay.
the maximum gross area of an accessory apartment should not exceed 25% of the gross floor area of the existing dwelling.
mhm.
That's like where it should end, period. In the case of a dwelling that's, of such and such a number of feet, then 750 would be the number. But if it's, just the way it's written now, it looks like I can always make it
I
at
think it's
750.
right.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
The way I see it now is that no matter what I do, I can make it at 750.
No.
Because it says or greater.
Yeah.
Whichever is greater.
Yeah.
But that's really not what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it, if the house is small, it's 25% of the house, right? If the house is big, this would be a 3,000 square foot house or something like that, right?
Huh?
25%, I don't know, roughly. Then it would allow it to go up to 750. But if the house is small,
I'm gonna back away for a minute. I'm gonna
Okay.
ask you to back away from this conversation for 1 minute. We're looking at it mathematically.
yeah, good.
Okay, why? Don't we have a minimum dwelling size in this town, in our current zoning bylaw?
We do,
What's the square footage?
750 or 800, something like that.
750, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on. So we're basically saying tiny homes are allowed.
No, I'm not saying that here, I hope.
There we are. Not to exceed 20% or a maximum of 750. So we're doing two things here. We're saying that it can't be bigger than the smallest acceptable dwelling unit in the town. Correct? If it is 750 square feet. And we're saying it could be as small as, there's no floor.
Well,
And then I'm gonna flip this question over. Okay? There are properties in this town that have barns which are no longer being utilized as barns.
Right.
Why can't I live in a 1,200 square foot accessory unit?
Well, that's the point. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, why would we cap it at 750? Why would we take away that person's ability to use their barn as a dwelling for a family member?
I don't have the answer to that question, but I think it just, all this does is it ends up clouding the issue, which is why it didn't get.
I'm not sure why
I'm
we have.
getting to the point of why we didn't do it the last time. There's always a lot of complications with this.
Right, yeah, and that's,
So is your suggestion remove 4, change 4?
Well, I'm just trying to see if anyone else agrees with me that the way 4 is written, that it doesn't matter. It says whichever is greater, I can do 750 at a minimum, if I feel like it.
I have no
In a
problem
house
with
that's
that.
only 1,000 square feet, or 1,200 square feet. It doesn't, to me, that's the way it reads. That it says it can be, shall not exceed 25% of the dwelling, or 750, whichever is greater.
See,
So I would just go to the 750,
Yeah, and so I would actually.
excuse me?
It should be whichever is less.
Whichever
Yeah,
is
right,
less.
right.
Okay.
But that is in
But that's
but that would not be in compliance with our zoning bylaw of a minimum dwelling size of 750 square feet.
Well, I think this will, because we have an accessory
Because
apartment.
you would have, I know, I hear you.
in
I
another
hear both
one.
of you. Okay, so where do we
Oh,
go?
less. Should be no.
Well, I think,
It
Because
has
it's
to
with-
be in compliance with the zoning bylaw.
Right, because if it's less than,
well, excuse me for a second. Go ahead, Julie.
every time I'm mentally getting it, I'm gone again.
No, basically, what I'm
no,
advocating,
hold
what
on.
what I'm saying is a single family
No,
dwelling,
I hear you.
okay,
Yeah.
or a dwelling. So in a single family dwelling, I think it's 750 square feet, and that's typically done so that we don't have people living in tents. and
Right, so
campers.
wait a minute. So you take somebody living in a 750 square foot house,
Yes,
and you do 25% of that for their grandmother. And then they're living in
She
the
has
tiny
to-
house,
yes.
So that's
where she doesn't have a bathroom, because we made them pick the less, right, is what you're
It may or may
saying?
not have a bathroom.
And what you're saying, I
is-
heard and understood too, so now I'm not reading the same sentence two entirely different ways. So hold on, can I keep thinking just for one
Yes, please
second?
do.
Not exceed. So if you have a giant house,
Mhm.
you can't
A
go
10,000
any,
square
if you
foot
have a
house.
giant house,
A 2,500 square foot
you can't,
accessory.
You can't exceed 25% of it.
right.
Or 750.
No?
Yeah.
Whichever's
But you
greater.
can't
Yeah.
exceed
So
whichever is the
I-
greater
we-
number.
this is
That's what I
worded
read this
correctly is what
as.
Yes,
we're
it
saying.
is.
I think-
Yes,
Yeah.
got it.
You're
I can
saying
never
it is
explain that.
worded correctly?
Yes,
I think it is, Ken. I think actually it is worded correctly.
yes.
Because you can't exceed which one is greater.
Can I,
No,
can
just,
I,
it says 750 or greater, whichever's greater, so 750 is gonna be greater, 99% of the time. Don't
Right.
take the
so
750.
we don't want them to build an accessory apartment smaller?
Not
what-
always.
Wait a minute, let me try, please.
Go ahead, please.
Because I heard a quote, and answer me why, okay? So this is saying that the smallest accessory apartment has to be 750 square feet. Why would we want a smaller accessory apartment?
No, I don't think it's saying that at all. I think it says the maximum gross floor area of the accessory apartment shall not exceed 25% of the gross floor area of
Yep.
the dwelling. So start with that.
Yep,
Just start with that part.
did it,
And on that part, we have a house, a typical house in there, 1,500 square feet, call it,
okay,
maybe 1,800.
yep,
So in that case, 25% of that, the apartment can be like 400, it's a 1,600 square foot house.
right.
Yes.
But
Now you know-
750 is greater, so it has to be 750 or you can't.
No, I think that's why it's written wrong. You're getting to the point.
So that was my question to you. Why would we be okay with a 400 square foot accessory apartment?
If you put a period at the end of that step, you've said, we will accept 25% of whatever the house is.
But this number is saying whichever is bigger, either the,
I know, I understand that, so, but it's
Right.
in most cases, here we are, in most cases, 750 is gonna be bigger.
right,
So now we have a house that's, 1,600 square feet. It's, one line says you can make it 25%, but the next one gives you it's two options.
no. You have to go with the greater one. So if you have a 1,500 square foot house, you need to build a 750 square foot accessory apartment. If
Okay,
you have a
That's the
mansion
intention.
and you have 5,000 square feet, you can build 25%, up to 25% of your house.
okay.
Not to exceed 750 square feet.
You correct me if I'm wrong, but I went with both of you, I understood it, and I'm back to this one. But is there a reason we would want to allow smaller than 750?
The ZBA will.
Well, the thing that throws it off here, I think you were on the right track.
No.
Okay? I think the thing that throws it off is the word maximum.
Right?
So maybe if you go with what you said, the gross floor area of the accessory apartment, and take out the word maximum, maybe then we got it.
The gross floor area of the accessory apartment shall not exceed 20, yes.
25.
Take out what-
Right, because we're putting in
Or
a minimum is what we're doing
Right, so if you
here.
take the word maximum
Maximum.
out.
I hear you.
That's why I said it had,
Yep,
every time it's gonna come in at 750.
Which is what we want.
You want it to be 750
or greater.
or greater.
Yep,
Because the ZBA shouldn't approve
yep,
anything
I
under
like that
750.
wording. The
Right?
gross floor area of the accessory apartment shall not exceed 25% of the gross floor area of the existing dwelling or 750 square feet, whichever is greater.
I don't know if that still made it work.
It's going to be.
Maybe
built.
it should be minimum instead of maximum. Actually, that could play the right word.
Yeah.
That may actually suppose
Because we
belong
aren't
as the
putting,
word minimum.
because we aren't putting in a maximum, we're putting in a
That's
minimum.
right.
Actually, you know what, it should be the word minimum.
Okay.
How did I get to
And I would like to say, I would argue to stay with minimum because
I think minimum is the right word.
the world of tiny homes is coming and they need to, like accessory units, they need to be
Yeah, it's
handled
supposed to be
as they
minimum.
are,
It's supposed to be
as an
minimum.
individual, as their own entity.
Now it reads right, if it's
Yeah.
minimum. So now
So-
you're making some sense. You're saying, look, we're not gonna, it's a minimum area, you can't build anything smaller than 25% of your house,
Mhm.
but you must build at least 750 square
That's
feet.
what it's
Yeah,
supposed to
that's
say.
how it's.
Something like that.
Which
I
would,
like
which would be,
I think that's
which is
kind of
in
what it's supposed to
compliance with the current zoning.
So somehow the word maximum doesn't belong there. I don't know where it
Okay.
came from.
Yeah, again, the planning consultant who originally wrote the bylaw, that was the language that was in the original version that we took out. So,
Haven't heard from Jim.
The gross floor area of the accessory apartment shall not
Minimum.
exceed,
No.
excuse me,
wait, the minimum?
Yes.
the gross floor area of the accessory apartment shall not exceed 25% of the gross floor area of the existing dwelling or 750 square feet, whichever is greater. No minimum, no maximum. The gross size of the accessory unit will be up to 750 feet. What we said.
No.
Now,
No,
No, you have to say that 750 is the minimum.
right.
do we have the, do we have the bylaw with us? How is it stated in the bylaw? I don't have my copy.
I got it right.
In the,
I got it right.
for, oh, you mean for houses?
We're not
Yes.
letting a max.
Okay, I'll let.
A single-family unit.
The dwelling, so it's under dwelling units, under dwelling
Do you
units.
want another house? But do our laws set that?
Well, we're not requiring anything. Are we requiring the
We just,
quarter?
we just had the zoning board of appeals just had a raucous meeting about a tiny home here in town.
Yes.
Nothing to do with the size of the house and everything to do with how it was located and how it was handled. So that's
Okay.
another issue for another day.
Yeah, I can read, I found it.
Yeah,
I'll read it.
What page is it?
Section 6.3, the page will differ depending on.
Okay, 6.3.
6.3, it should be G or H, depending on the,
This is under
it's under minimum floor.
density and dimensions and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, minimum floor area in dwelling units. All dwelling units except single-family houses shall provide a minimum habitable floor area as follows. 1, 750 square feet for a dwelling unit on one floor. 2, 500 square feet on the first floor of a dwelling unit of 1.5 floors. Or 3, 400 square feet on the first floor of a dwelling unit on 2 floors.
Which would be 800 feet.
So why don't we say that for the floor area of the accessory apartment shall be in compliance with current Ayer zoning bylaw requirements?
I thought that, I'll tell you the reason I thought this was different, because I thought because we had to go to the zoning board of appeals, that it might create a different dimension than was in the regular standard, dimensional requirements. That's kind of what I was thinking, but if somebody couldn't you have a 500-foot apartment, a studio apartment easily?
There are, don't know?
I think 750 is a lot for, for an accessory apartment. I don't think I think the
Yeah.
intent is that it really doesn't want to be bigger than
It sounds
750.
like
It might be
your
750 or
existing
smaller.
house is 800.
Excuse
If
me?
you have a house that's 800 square feet,
I
and
know.
you're building an accessory apartment that's 750.
Maybe it's right the
Essentially,
way
a
it is.
two-family house at
Yeah,
that point,
it
because
becomes
they're
a
both the same
duplex.
size.
Right.
The point of an accessory apartment is to be the 25% of the existing house, and that's where I think we're all getting lost on it.
Yeah, maybe it's right the way it is.
Okay.
Maybe I just made a big issue out of nothing. The maximum, so we're really saying is, I think that we're really saying I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, is that a regular dwelling unit that stands by itself, but this actually isn't, it's now part of a multi-family.
Right.
In essence, it's an apartment in another house.
Right.
It's a little different, maybe it.
It is turning
Anything on this, Alan?
it is turning single-family zoning into
The potential,
yes. So basically what's happening here is you've got, it's a way of using a single-family zoned area temporarily for more than one living. It's done for family members or some other, it doesn't have to be family member, it's done for a reason. It does generate an affordable, a less expensive place to live is the perception, the understanding, and it only goes with the ownership of the primary deeded property. If that changes, it disappears. I struggle with the affidavit on an annual basis, no one's ever gonna get one, but I'm not gonna worry about that language at all.
Right.
Who is going to be the accessory unit cop? Ain't gonna happen, but that's okay.
Well, that was
I will
my,
be.
I do worry about, let's put it this way, I embrace the concept of tiny homes, but this is not, I don't want this to get confused
Oh,
as
no,
a tiny
it's
home
not.
regulation.
Yeah, there's two separate.
So I
ones.
would actually go with the language that's in here right now
I got another potential
and let the
change.
ZBA hammer it out if they have to. What are you gonna say?
Okay, and now I'm just gonna go, leave the first part correct. The
Yep.
maximum gross floor area of the accessory apartment shall not exceed 25% of the gross floor area of existing dwelling, okay?
Yep.
And cannot exceed 750 square feet.
That's not
I've got another one. Shall not exceed 25% of the gross floor area of the existing dwelling up to 750 square feet.
Whatever, either way, but what we're trying to say is it can be smaller than 750 square feet if it's in your house, but it can't be more than
But then
700.
again, this language came from the attorney?
I don't know.
No, that language actually in number 4 was what was originally in the bylaw that was submitted by Judy Barrett.
Right.
Oh, that's
That was-
gonna be
that was-
lit.
That was intended for inclusion on the March 18th
Right.
town
Okay.
meeting where we first adopted the whole package.
So maximum gross floor area of the accessory apartment shall not exceed 25% of the gross area of the existing dwelling. The gross floor area of the existing, okay, here we go. The gross floor area of the accessory apartment shall not exceed 25% of the gross floor area of the existing dwelling to a maximum of 750 square feet.
Fine. I just want to make it clear to people that it looks like we're saying you
Right.
can't,
Yeah.
750 is the top number,
Yep.
and anything below that is okay too. If
Or
it's
not to
25%
exceed,
of the
not to
original
exceed
building.
750 square feet.
Oh, not to exceed.
Or,
Not 50, I want the law
and
right.
that- but this is the part, right? If they want to go to the zoning board of appeals and say, my barn is 1,100 square feet, I want to turn it into a single family home for my grandmother,
Yeah,
by all means.
that's different.
but they
That's
can
up,
go
that's
to
within the
the,
purview of the ZBA to say, go for it.
Yes.
And the
So-
ZBA could change this if they want.
They can.
So, yeah, I have to type this up before I leave tonight and send it to Robert because
Yep.
the warrant's gonna be closed like 2 days from now, so. So I wanna make sure I get this correctly, so whatever we agree to.
The gross floor area of the accessory apartment shall not exceed
Yeah.
25% of the gross floor area of the existing dwelling to a maximum of 750 square feet.
And strike the whichever is greater.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right, so the gross floor area, so
The
we're
gross
taking
floor
out
area.
minimum, maximum. and-
Remove maximum from the beginning,
Yep,
and on the second line,
There you got it.
after of the gross floor area of the existing dwelling, strike the word or and replace it with to a maximum of 750 square feet.
got it, okay,
Now they're including garage.
okay.
Everybody else?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I think
Can I make a
Julie's
suggestion?
Yes.
Maybe say the gross habitable floor area. That will also control the size of this. The whole gross floor area of the existing house includes garage and everything.
I think it's
You're talking
okay.
about the habitable area of the house?
No, I
Well,
like,
then that will control an even smaller thing. If you, or if not, don't worry about it.
leave it on
It's
that.
got to happen, but okay.
Basically, I think we're trying to avoid a 20,000 square foot accessory apartment,
Yeah.
accessory unit
Right,
in a single family home.
yeah.
so that's what that statement did just say, but up until now, neither of you have answered it in a way that I knew that's where we were going. So the good news is,
They'll
that
stay
was
small.
clear, that
Yes.
we were trying to go, accessory apartments are under 750 square feet.
Yes.
I like it.
All right.
Thank you.
That's
Because
what it
again,
said.
So even if your house exceeds 3,000 square feet,
Right.
you're capped.
And that
Yep.
doesn't include bathrooms or closets.
And that's a real number.
I'm kidding, I'm
750.
kidding.
That's a pretty-
It's how you look at real estate,
okay, take
honestly.
30, let's go.
Bathrooms and closets are never counted in square foot. If they are, there's a problem.
So I
I am not going to go down someone has to keep track of this road. That's not gonna be my hunt,
yeah.
okay?
Just a general comment on this is that
Oh, that,
Yeah.
we're trying to make life easier for somebody, I think is the
Yeah.
intent here. Like you said at the beginning, Mark, we can come back and adjust this as time goes on. I think the pendulum's swinging a little far to just reading through 4. That's a long time, right? It's a little complicated.
Any further discussion?
I'm finished looking at it.
I was trying.
Right.
I mean, I read it before, but that's,
No, I read through it, and to be honest with you, my
So
hat
Nathan,
is,
you're saying it's too complicated, you're thinking? Is that what you're saying, getting at, or?
It's my overall thrust is you're trying to help somebody. This is,
These are actually very easy.
Yeah, I think this will be okay, Nathan. You know, I understand what your concern is, but actually, I actually think that just by being clear, it'll be easy.
yeah, I mean, Jeff's already indicated, they're not, yeah, who's gonna follow up each year and do this? Who's gonna make the application?
You're looking at it. Anything in the zoning bylaw falls under me.
I'm willing to bet it won't even make it into a job description anywhere.
well, of all the things we do at the town meeting, in all probability, this is the one we have to be on a strong individual mind as a board,
Mhm.
because this is the one we're gonna get the feedback on.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, there's quite a lot of people that might not be interested in this.
Mhm.
Everybody from landlords that have tenants right now to potentially other people in town who have other interests, whatever it might be.
Well, it's gonna get construed as tiny home,
So
it's the tiny home issue, which,
this is probably the one that's, the other ones,
Right.
they're gonna go right
Well,
through.
the good news is accessory apartments have been around for decades, and many towns, Groton, surrounding us, have had them for decades, and so the experience in the other towns, and they're all fairly similar bylaws. It's not something new. It's new for Ayer, but it's not new
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
in the surrounding area.
Okay.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Any further discussion?
No.
Accept the motion
We
with
have a
changes?
We have the motion, and the discussion.
Great. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
With the changes.
But with the changes.
With the
Yeah.
The
changes.
changes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Third on our list. Amend section 10.3, affordable housing and form-based code for West Main Street.
What, there are two separate things. The affordable housing amendment is...
I thought so, but I read the sentence the way it was written.
It does,
Oh, whoops, okay. Yeah, the affordable housing thing is...
I tell you what, guys, I'm gonna call an audible here. Mr. Minoyan has been sitting very quietly in the back of the room. We're gonna put something behind him. Let's do form-based code right now.
Well, I would request, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, that since I have to make sure that these get to Robert,
Yeah.
like today, since I won't be in tomorrow,
Yeah.
that we just quickly do the affordable housing one,
Okay.
and I'd be recused for like 10 minutes to go type these up, send them to Robert so that my conscience is clear.
Okay.
Because we saw what happened last time when there were changes after the public hearing, before the town meeting warrant closed, and it caused confusion at town meeting floor.
Yes.
and-
Okay.
I'm sleeping over tonight anyway, so.
Thanks,
Well,
Al.
Right.
Got it.
So, yeah,
You get the cat.
the intent of
My
section
box on the
10.3 is really just to make it clear that the provisions of the affordable housing section, as far as the density bonuses that are described, apply to all multifamily and townhouse developments. And as I wrote, whether they require a special permit or allowed by right, which Mr. Diskin pointed out is sort of extraneous language, because, you could just say as permitted, but we could take, since I'm making the change to the accessory apartment section, if you want to strike that first, I don't have it right in front of me. Oh, and in the 10.32A, on the very first page, this section applies to all districts, to any development for 5 or more. Yeah, to take out what I have in orange or red, whether required by special permit or allowed by right. That could go away and not change the intent
Good.
or the meaning of the thing.
So it's now going to read the section. 10.3 applies in all districts to any development for 5 or more townhouse or multifamily dwelling units. Correct?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Less is more.
And Mark, the only other change since the last meeting is on page 3, number 1 in the blue.
Oh, right.
No building permit shall be issued for a development that is subject to this section 10.3 unless the planning board has granted any pertinent approvals. Is that
Right.
correct? That's
Yes,
the only
so
change
we-
before?
Yeah, so we don't specify site plan or other things, and I think that's a better way to state it. And, yes.
Do you want to use the, sorry,
You're good.
did you want to use the word what?
Any pertinent approval, so yeah,
Right.
whatever.
Why don't you
If I
say
may.
required approval?
Well, if I may, substitute the word necessary for the word any and we're all set.
Okay.
Where's
No building
necessary?
permit shall be issued for development that is subject to this section 10.3 unless the planning board has granted any necessary approvals.
Right, you
Excuse me.
take the word
Instead of-
I mean,
pertinent.
get pertinent out.
Is that
Necessary.
replaced with
Yeah.
necessary or required or
Just,
something like that?
just make it any necessary approvals.
Right.
Necessary,
Mhm.
okay.
You got it? Do you have it?
I'll need to borrow that from you when I go upstairs to send it to Robert, but,
Any
sorry.
further
So you saw
discussion?
the further
Yeah, I see
scratch
it.
out up there on the first page? You saw the top? This one?
Right,
Put a
yes,
star. Okay,
yes, I
so
got that.
There's only 2. So we need a motion?
Any further
Yes.
discussion?
Sorry.
Oh, do we have a motion?
What?
Do we have a motion?
Let's make a motion. We jumped right in.
I can I'm sorry, can I have that so I can make a motion? Sorry, just need to be able to say it out loud.
Yep.
Make a motion that we approve the changes to 10.3 affordable housing as revised September 10th, 2019, and submit it to the Board of Selectmen for inclusion on the warrant for the October 28th town meeting.
Seconded.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? I do have one thing.
Friendly amendment.
I have one thing. 10.3 affordable housing, open paren, will rename to inclusionary housing, close paren.
Oh, right.
Dive deep on this one and make the change.
That's in your next public hearing.
Okay,
Right, but that's,
okay.
right.
Cool.
We
Did
didn't
you
catch
have
that on the
I'd like
first
to make
notice.
a friendly suggestion that we amend the motion to include the revisions of today's date, since we
Yes, I
just made a
actually
couple.
added that.
Yeah.
Oh,
When you
thank
did
you.
his 9/10
Oh,
vote
yes.
and
Yes,
9/24.
revised
Let's do it.
September 20th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, well, thank you. And Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with you.
And form-based code, West Main Street.
If it's okay with you and the board, I will go type
Please.
these up and
Yes.
and send these
We
to
give you
others.
special
Okay.
dispensation.
Because I saw what happened at the last town meeting where changes were made.
I have a question for you. The next agenda item is also, Mr. Monahan?
Yes?
Public hearing proposed zoning bylaw amendments for October 20 special time meeting amendment section 5.2 table of use.
Right, that's because there were some changes to the table of uses
Good.
that were not captured on the first notice.
Can we do them both at the same time?
Do I need to read this
You'd have
Thank
to,
you
now?
very
you'd read
much.
you'd have to open the new hearing and
Yeah.
have two hearings going at the same time.
Mr. Clerk, would you please read the opening of the...
Here we go. Public hearing notice for amendments to the air zoning bylaw. Planning board public hearing notice. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 5, the Air Planning Board will hold a public hearing at 6:15 PM on Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, at the Air Town Hall, 1 Main Street, Air, Massachusetts, to consider an amendment to the air zoning bylaw and zoning map, deleting the West Main Central Business, West Main Street General Business, quote, GB, close quote, district, and replacing it with a form-based code district, quote, FBC, close quote, and amending all sections of the air zoning bylaw, sections 1.0 through 10.0 inclusive, including all table headings, titles, etc., that reference a subject West Main Street General Business, GB, district throughout the bylaw, so as to accommodate the proposed new Mitchellville West Main Form-Based Code District, FBC, as necessary throughout the air zoning bylaw. Section 5.2 Table of Use Regulations and Section 6.2 Scheduled Dimensional Requirements, as well as the zoning map of the town of Air, will also be amended to replace references to the subject West Main Street General Business District with the form-based code district and address allowable uses and requirements. The following changes to Section 5.2 Table of Use Regulations will also be made to accommodate the proposed form-based code district. Residential use 1.1 from special permit from the zoning board to special permit from the planning board. 1.3 from special permit of the zoning board to permitted. 1.4 from not permitted to special permit from the planning board. 1.5 from not permitted to special permit from the planning board. 1.9 from special permit from the zoning board to the special permit from the planning board. 1.10 form from special permit the zoning board to special permit planning board. 1.11 from special permit zoning board of appeals to special permit planning board. 4.3 from permitted to special permit from the planning board. 5.2 from permitted to special permit from the planning board. 5.14 from permitted to not permitted.
Stand up there.
In addition, the title of Section 10.3 Affordable Housing will be changed to read Inclusionary Housing, and any reference to Section 10.3 throughout the zoning bylaw will be amended to reflect such title change. This is in addition to the other amendments to the section that were the subject of the September 10th Planning Board public hearing. The full text of proposed Mitchellville West Main Form-Based Code zoning bylaw and the inclusionary housing section can be found on the Town of Air website at https://www.air.ma.ua and paper copies can be obtained at the town clerk's office or at the air planning department in Air Town Hall during normal business hours.
Thank you, Clark.
Thank you.
You almost ran out of time there, didn't you?
You said the
And there's a
20, you
mouse.
said October 24th?
Is the mouse
I
on?
have no idea what it's doing.
There's a
It's
mouse
locked.
over there.
It's-
Can you move that mouse,
Started.
please? See if that mouse will move. The pointer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mouse moves.
Double click.
Double click. That's, it had the keyboard icon too, so I think it thinks,
It's,
I know it wasn't.
of course. Just perfect way to end this thing.
Do we have it on paper in front of us?
We do.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate the patience of the people in the audience, but our technology is not working with us right now.
Of course not. Can I use profanity against the screen? No.
You may. Just make sure it's appropriate for all consumption.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you,
And just
Mr.
very quickly tonight, I know I've gone through no presentations tonight on the code. I will though say, however, last Thursday evening, we had a public informational forum in the Great
Yes.
Hall. And actually a very good turnout, about 30 folks.
Nice.
And I appreciate that Planning Board member Krantz, Planning Board member Diskin were there. It was really good. And actually, it's on APAC. And I'll tell you, I was in the groove that night. And just in terms of... Okay. All right.
Sponsored by our newest...
Wait, I didn't finish. I was in the group with, just in terms of people saying, why a form-based code? What? It's just it's there and it's actually pretty good. Of course, I
What?
danced around with the numerics again, and this is why I'll be pleased. I also want to thank member Diskin. Ken came in last
Danced too?
Friday
Yeah.
after me bashing my head against the wall and going, why all of a sudden, why can't I get these numbers right? Which really began to frighten me. And Ken and I sat down. Ken, again, as always, volunteered. And we were together for at least an hour or more going through this. And I think we got this down. I want to just first immediately get you folks to page 5. Just, quickly, page 5 just gives the district purpose. I just did a little wordsmithing and rearranging there. I think it's just much more consistent with, why the code for out there.
Thank
We laid off the high-density stuff and just incrementally transform, that corridor into a safe, healthy, attractive, appealing, great street. Great streets concept is really, some people are understanding. And then secondly, to effectively, more simply regulate traditional inland building and development pattern. It's based on the built environment to deliver more predictable building development process and outcome. And then down, to facilitate construction of new moderate density. We were using phrases, I was using phrases like higher density. It isn't. We're talking about moderate density for that area. So it's a small thing, but it's important for commercial development to generate, the maximum amount of municipal real estate and the rest through. So I think the purpose is just a little, and thank you all for helping me that. I had this thing going a little too urban intense.
Right.
And I think we've calibrated down where. Next, I want to draw your attention to page number 12. This again is a classic Ken Diskin catch. The man is misses nothing, no detail.
MVP.
And I just looked there on page 12, under key features, the second item, we had introduction of a unprecedented, there's melodramatic, writing stuff like that, well, please. But a 6-foot sidewalk. The new sidewalk that we've proposed and what we submitted as part of the MassWorks grant is a 5-foot wide sidewalk. Ken wanted to make sure we had the right dimension on that proposed sidewalk out there. So we're just changing.
Just change it to 5?
That's right. Okay, 6 is going to go to 5 right there.
Still
It's consistent with our standards.
Yeah, this is still unprecedented.
What about the
No.
word unprecedented?
You want to take unprecedented out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll move on.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good
Okay.
idea.
So we're going to change it to introduction of a
Of
new.
a new 5-foot
Thank you.
sidewalk. Okay,
That makes
it's
perfect.
just a small thing, but
And again, that's consistent with our standards, right? 5 foot.
correct.
It's less
It's
flourish.
out there. That's right, a little less
Can I
flair.
Can I ask
Please.
Mitchellville?
Yes.
I just haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, it's a big
No,
issue.
you wasn't here.
Wasn't here?
Oh, I
Oh,
don't tell you.
you didn't watch the video of that night's meeting?
Alan talks so well.
Jeff, Jeff glazes over my videos even, now he can only take about 30
Is that
seconds.
His middle name is Mitchell, so we're naming it after my son's middle name, August Mitchell Murray.
No, it was the historic village out there where the Grady Research Ice House is. It was a full massive woolen mill, a village. But I'll tell you, I've changed my mind about this. I've talked to a lot of people. I was like, what is this Mitchell Village? Just blah,
Yeah, no one knows what it is.
people are just sort of saying, Ellen, just like, there's Concord, downtown in West Concord. Maybe we just need to call this, West Ayer Village. And they said, oh, that's interesting. That may be. So anyway, we'll see about that in terms of name. We'll do a contest in the community. Say, name that village. I don't know. All right. Now, guys, important.
Here we go.
So page 13, but when you go to 14, the panel.
This is it.
Okay. And Ken will like this in terms of, for God's sakes, let's simplify this and stop it. And all of a sudden, like a light comes on in my head after, and I said, Alan, it's the simplest. But guys, just quickly going through. On the column on the left side, we are now, this is T5, which is the sort of center core, a little bit more intense center part right there. We're seeing for the front setback now. And we do have issues with topography on the north side of this road and south side. On the south side, we are dealing with ledge and rock outcropping, and we're dealing with properties like the veterinary hospital that's out there and others. They're on the base of Shepley Hill. You're seeing a topographic grade. That's why in front, as Ken pointed out very wisely, and they have large detention bases on the front of these, and it's because that land and those parcels there is sloping. You need to allow a little bit more front setback if they want to do it there, because they may need to build those detention bases on that, and because of the topography. And this, guys, I love, because it gets to the purity of a form-based code is designed for one place and one place only. And this is, boom, classic, proves that through. So we're talking then on the south side of the street there, T5, a 10-foot minimum, and by the way, we are now at a 10-foot minimum setback. We were originally talking a 5. We're going to give it a little bit more breathing room. 10-foot minimum, 30-foot maximum setback, which is what it is right now out there under the general business. So we're giving great flexibility. If you're able to move the building up closer there, fine, but if not, if it needs to stay where it is, you're right there, you have flexibility. On the north side of the street, where you do not have that, it's all flat level, we're saying straight, 10-foot minimum setback, 20-foot maximum. And what this is doing right now, there's a 30-foot maximum out there in the general business. And this is what is creating this non-human scale. I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
30-foot minimum.
Yes.
It's not a maximum now.
No.
It's a minimum now.
Thank you, I'm sorry, that's right. Did I say max? Right, so 30-foot minimum out there now. And the fact that out there right now, we have that 30-foot minimum, but we say, which is in our code right now, our zoning, you cannot park vehicles in front, so you can't use it for a parking lot, and you can't build building on it. This is a classic, we are wasting, so I have this 30 feet of land, I can't park, I can't put, what? This is the wastefulness, so we're saying now you have flexibility. You can bring it up to 10 minimum, or you can still have that 30-foot maximum setback on the north side, 20-foot maximum on the south side. The front setback, secondary buildings, the same there. Side setback, 10-foot minimum. 10-foot minimum, okay, for each one. Rear setback, 25-foot minimum. Right now in the general business, you have a 20-foot minimum rear setback. The fact now that these buildings can be pushed up a little bit more, I want to have 25 feet behind these buildings, so fire engines, they really have that access. They can't get behind these buildings out there now that it's going to be a little bit more dense.
That's possible.
And now they have, and they have
And we
give a
get
little bit more room.
And the
with
side
their
setbacks
setback.
are, no problems with getting the driveways in there. to
Correct, and
access
yep,
the
and I'll
parking,
jump,
all
yeah,
that,
and I can
and
jump,
everything's
yeah,
kosher with
right on
that.
that. Mhm.
And that works on the south side, 25-foot min.
It does, yes. So now you have your good street composition there. Lot width, now.
Hold on a second.
Oh, yes,
I can ask a question.
please.
Okay, so go back to the third item down, which is your front setback secondary.
Yes.
That we talked about that being 10 feet, so it would match the first two, and not 5 feet.
There's another one, Ken.
So what is it, Ken?
It's 10.
If you have, the word
Yeah,
secondary
it is.
means if perchance there's a
And
secondary
the-
street on
and
the
if-
side of the building.
Yes, no, that's
Right.
right, he's right.
So-
And of course, in classic Allen fashion, I guess I'm not breaking it, there it is on my pin, all day work with the 10-foot.
So it should
Here's
be-
what I just gave 5, and this is again, my
It should be
classic
10
doing
feet?
too much, too fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
10 feet, it's consistent
All right.
with the front one.
So
So,
we have to
Yeah,
amend
that's all,
that.
it's just a typo right there,
10.
so 10 feet consistent. Thank you, Ken. All right, lot width for T5. Now we're gonna go a 60-foot minimum lot width out there. This is T5, and right now, under our general business, you need a minimum of 100-foot frontage. So now this is giving more flexibility, frankly, and you do have a number of lots out there that are now non-conforming, but that are 50 and 6. So this actually gets some that are not into, which is really cool. And again, you're creating a little bit more of a compact human scale. So 60-foot minimum lot width, 260-foot max. So that's great flexibility. You have good range now with your building form. Building lot coverage. We originally had that high. We've just set it down at 60% maximum. That is what it currently is right now in the general business. So again, that's showing this is not going super urban out there. It's really going to be a very moderate density
So
thing.
60% max on a 60-foot
Correct.
minimum would be how many feet? Does anyone roughly,
Depends on how deep
35
it
feet?
is. Depends how deep the
That's the
lot is.
depth, right, Joe? It depends on the
sorry.
depth of the lots,
Yeah.
right?
All right,
And you,
sorry.
How long is your
Oh,
piece
right,
of
of course.
string?
and that's why you have the flexibility work there, because most,
I
There's
understand
no-
now, I get it, right.
the lots on the north side street are exceedingly deep. The lots on the south side do not, so that's why you want to work that
I
flexibility.
understand.
I guess I
I was
just wanted to
confused with the front.
I want to mention, it went a little bit quickly, I just want to mention to the planning board that the 60-foot, and he said it, but I just want to double check that everyone heard it, but the 60-foot minimum is because there are quite a few lots there now that are 60 feet wide.
He said 50, some 50.
There's one or two at 50.
I think like,
They are the
by
outliers,
looking
but you
at
have
the
a number of them, right, they're
plan,
at 60.
so
yeah.
we figured, you can't tell somebody they have to have a lot that's wider than what they already own. That was kind of the logic behind it.
Also, what about those 50-foot lots?
I don't know if there's a 50-foot out there.
There are a couple of them out there, but that's in non-conformance, and that's where you see, that's the classic where these plots, should be assembled, put them into one, and then you could do, one.
Might have to combine them.
Or do they appeal?
Oh, they appeal,
Oh, yeah.
right.
But they're, we have, if you're a non-conforming grandfather, you're fine, unless you completely go in and reconstruct and change the use, then you're subject to the new code, but right, they'll be safe harbor that way. Building, the frontage build-out. This again, we want to create that, in this case, a moderate density street wall. You want to frame the street. I wish I had my visuals, which I don't remember. You want to frame the street with those buildings. So we're saying here in T5, you're building a building, yes, Alan. It's going to be 100 feet in length, something like that, yeah. We want to see 75% of the building length up along that frontage line.
Okay.
As opposed to saying, well, I got a 100-foot building, Alan, and yeah, I'll make the front door in front, but I'm going to turn the whole building to the side in the lot. So you'll just have this narrow thing, and although my lot is, 120 feet, what you don't want to see are these little buildings with then these big gaps between them. That's what makes the human ski blow it. So here we're saying, if you're going to build a building there, make sure whatever you're building like this, 75% is on that frontage line. And then you can do an L on the side or whatever. But that's important, guys, and one of the most important things, to create that street wall and framing the street, okay? Building height here now, right now there's just a maximum 3 stories. We're saying here for T5, because this is going to be the little village center as it develops, we do have a minimum story height here now.
Good.
And this is what creates the economics. So now minimum 2 stories, maximum of 3. So what we're saying is just that little center part, we don't want to see 1-story buildings. It is a waste, and we want to encourage that. Okay? Here's the big one. The building width is the thing that kept really confounding. Because you got to make the building width minimum max, work together with the lot width, with the frontage build up, with the setback, and then we kept grinding, always grinding back and forth on this. It's very easy to do this, where we mostly do form-based codes in downtowns of places that have more of the historic form. That's what's killing the subject. There is no pattern out there of density and such. And that's why we've been fighting, going back and forth. How do we make these buildings work? And what I realize is, as I'm sitting in my office, Alan, it's simple in this case. Eliminate that completely. Because the building with itself is simply going to be a function, all right, of the synthesis between, all right, I know what my building, what my parcel's out there with. I see I can build a building between 60 feet, and 260 feet. 60% coverage, 75, I see my side setbacks. That's what's going to lead to their own internal decision of what my building width will be. As long as you're within those side setbacks, okay, and as long the lot width is right of it, I didn't, all that was unnecessary. The bill is, it's unnecessary, and this is what simplifies this. Don't need that in there. Okay, but you want something like that in a downtown form-based code, because it's so structured and tight.
So there's nothing here that says you can neck down the building
Yeah.
as it goes back into the lot, as long as the
Yes.
facade's out there.
That's right. So really, you don't need this whole building with, and that's what's causing all this, and that's what caused me all this trouble back and forth, and I realized it's not necessary. It really isn't in this case out there.
What's the difference between frontage build-out and building facade? I'm confused with those two terms.
Yes, and I, did I? Yeah, of course not. That's right, because I put it up there. I did this really beautiful diagrammatic thing, Jonathan, showing the building frontage builds out the side, and we can't see it. I said, Jonathan, what we're saying is, on your lot, if you're gonna build a building on it, because the whole point is, these buildings together must relate to each other, form a street wall down the street together. You don't wanna have these massive, large gaps between the buildings. So the building frontage is simply saying, 75% of whatever length building I build on my lot, 75% of that building has to be up on that frontage line,
Oh, okay,
meaning occupying that frontage line.
okay,
This is much easier to do diagrammatically,
okay, I got it.
okay?
It can get narrower as you
You
go.
want those buildings up,
Okay, I got
most
it.
of it.
Yep.
As opposed to saying, well, Alan, I could take my 80-foot-long building and instead of it running parallel to street, well, I'm gonna just turn the whole thing, so only like 20 feet of the front is on it. But I'm gonna have this big open, this massive, no, you don't want that. You wanna turn that to create that street wall and that street, okay? Or-
If you want parking or a trailer dock, you can push that in after you get past the facade.
Okay? Okay, very good.
Hold
So
on.
the- that's all right, yeah.
Go back to that T5, you still have a typo on the
Yep.
C. Should be principal with a PR.
Yeah, and that is on the new, is it on yours? I have it here that I did change, put that R in. On your new one.
I go,
But I gave you-
T51 still has it.
Did I not do the T5 one? See that? Too fast. He's good. We did catch that. Yeah, we'll make sure that
But
that's,
we caught it on the other one, do you wanna?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
And again, we're all going too fast, doing too many things in this building. This is it, this is
Keep
it
going
rearing
fast,
its
I like
head.
it
Right on.
for right now, not about that typo.
Okay. On page 15, one just quick typo change I have to do here. On page 15, at the very bottom of the column on the right, these last three lines saying front setback, and that's encroachment of building elements. I have down to see those last two, say 8-foot max for front setback. That should be 5-foot max, and that's 10. So we're just going to change that 8 to 5, which is consistent with the other language in here. So that is that. T51, go to page 19, which is your panel again. T5, so now T51 panel, page 19, and you'll just see again the numerics there. Okay.
You didn't have to deal with the north-south issue?
That's correct in this case,
Okay.
because once you get out there, you're away from that area in the middle, which has that topography, right? So you don't have to do that. The now setbacks are all the same.
Right.
The lot width, though, under E, we are down to a 60-foot minimum and a 190-foot maximum. So you're just saying, you can build bigger, longer buildings at center core, but on these ones, we want to see that lot width a little bit tighter, and that gives you your form and scale between T5 and T5.1. Lot coverage is the same, 60%. Frontage build-out, though, now with T5, it's 75%. The front building. Here, because it's a little less intense, we're saying 60% frontage build-out. Okay? A little less intense. Doesn't have to be so much of an urban street wall there as you get out into T51. A little less of a percentage, just a little bit of a gradient down. Okay? And then on the building height, on F, here we are saying it's exactly what it is right now in general business. Minimum of 1, maximum of 3. And again, we've lessened it, so a little less intense. Get rid of the building width bit, and there you are. All right?
You may have covered this, Alan.
Yeah.
Frontage, 20-foot max
Yep.
setback. And it's 30-foot max Oh, just because of the south.
Yeah, just on that one right there, that's
Otherwise-
right. Yep, and that's that cool sort of, custom made for the
Okay.
place.
Yeah.
He's gunning for you, Ken.
He's gunning for me. No,
Nathan's gunning for you.
I like it, but he missed one thing. Actually, he said the word.
Yeah.
You have to take the word frontage out of there, which is the incorrect word.
Wait a minute, where?
5 point, you took it out of 5.1, 5, but you didn't take it out of 5.1.
Wait a minute. On the panel?
Front setback, principal frontage.
Frontage doesn't belong there. The word frontage doesn't belong there.
Oh, yeah, I took it out. That's right, Ken, I just do it right. And that was one of Ken's other, so just get rid of that frontage, right, and we did. So it's
Frontage
just little,
is it's
Yeah.
the setback is not the frontage, yeah.
which is good, I agree, that was good. Just, again, simplify, clarify things.
So take that out, and that was it.
Yep.
Word principal.
Okay.
And then the only other change I have to make, and this is the last page 20, and under private frontage types, you see A 10.5.20 frontage types, the last column right there. I need to insert the frontage types also that were in T5. The only difference there is you see on T5.1, we allow a porch and fence frontage type in T5.1, where we don't in T5. But I need to add in those other frontage types, meaning, forecourt, gallery, and arcade, and shop front. So I just need to insert those there. Again, that's just a typo thing. So in T5, when you have all the same building frontage types, plus you have the porch and front yard fence. Because you have some of that out, there's still little single-family houses out there, and then we want to, if you still want to do that out there, you can do it in T5-1.
And we've got stoop, right?
Okay? Yes, and stoop as well, that's right. So we'll insert just all those frontage types will be there. And again, just like on the other one here, those last 3 lines, I just got to change that 8-foot max to 5.
Thank you.
So that's those little things, that's that. And on the use table, there's just one thing, and again, this was a good pickup by Ken, and I was going back and forth, I agree. This is the 5.2 table of use regulations, item 1.4. Conversion of an existing single-family dwelling to a 3 or 4 family dwelling provided by da. We had under the new thing, right now it's not permitted at all in a general business, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Can I have the
It
table?
shows you right there.
Yeah, and I showed saying, you know what, let this be a special permit, because there may be, but the more you looked out there, the reality is, there are no existing single families out there, houses, that are on a scale that you could ever make into a 3 and 4 family with the same building footprint. All the houses out there are the original tiny houses, okay, guys? They're these very small. And looking at the reality, it's like, no, you could never cut this up. You wouldn't get the 750 square feet for each apartment. So Ken was right saying, so what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna change that, right now it's SPB, we're striking that, and it's just gonna go straight N, not permitted. So that's the only change there with that one. And otherwise, all the rest of them are good to
Just for
go.
the Mitchellville, West Main.
That's correct.
Based.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
So that was, I think, a very good catch. So that's it, guys.
Thanks, Ron.
And I'll make those final little changes. I think we have a pretty good, and actually this one I like it, because it really is simple, and all it's doing when all is said and done is, it's simply building, it's gonna result in more of a unified composition. The street, the buildings will now start relating to each other in the street, and that's enough for out there right now.
We like it.
Just to get to that point, because right now there is no underlying order, it's just a K of nothing. So just to say as a start, I think this is a nice, what I call a low-grade, very simple,
Yeah.
start-off form-based code, just to start bringing it into that type of
Thank you,
uniform
Ron.
form.
You know, because we're on record, I just want to underline something really important that you said at the meeting we had the other night when we invited. You said that because it hasn't come up yet, one of the reasons that we're doing this is that for any developer who really did have the wherewithal and the will to develop something nice, is to give them confidence that they're not going to be stranded out there. That once you formalize this in a prescriptive way in the form-based code, what that does is give developers confidence that yes, it's worth their time and money to actually build something worthwhile.
And it's not only confidence, you're right, John, thank you for that, because that's the economics, it gives me a product now, I can go and sell developers, and what John's saying is, which we said in the other one. Okay, and I see this quarter has no, I see what you guys would like to be there, I'm gonna take a huge risk, Mr. Minardi. I'm gonna build a building, a new building there, consistent with this wonderful vision for this farm. I'm gonna risk my capital. And I have to hopefully pay the person who owns a lot on this side of me, the person, and down will do the same. There's no guarantee right now, and that's why they say, I can't do this, it makes no sense for me to do this. I'm not here, but if you know this code is now adopted, and you know whether you do it this year, okay, if you do your building now, whether someone develops that parcel next to you a year from now, or 10 years from now, you know, because it's the prescription. Whatever is built next to me will be consistent with my form of support and do it. We've just mitigated the risk of them investing their capital, because I know, as each thing happens down the line, it is all gonna only up and solidify this form. Therefore, you have completely mitigated my gamble, my risk. And that's why these places don't happen, Jonathan. Thank you that they don't. People say, why doesn't someone start out there and be a leader? It's like, I'm not here to be a visionary leader with my capital of money, you know?
Yes.
So now we've given them something, like, let's do it, let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are gonna post that full presentation I did on Thursday on our social media, Facebook, so people see it. I'm also gonna organize and schedule a walking tour out there. If anyone just wants to come out and walk the court, I'll invite everybody. And I may do one more public forum, believe it or not, between now and time. I might do the same thing. We actually send a direct mailing, an invitation to all the folks that have participated in town meetings, the last 3. And just do one more invitational thing before town meeting. And
Okay.
we feel pretty confident. Julia's, I think Julia's.
It's
We
9
got
o'clock.
it.
Yeah,
We're
That's
done.
it, right on.
So you need
We're
a
getting
motion, Chair?
You know, I'm totally in support, Alan. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's just.
No, right on, yeah, we're good.
Somebody put the motion up, please.
I'll make a motion that the planning board support the changes to the proposed West Main Street form-based code district replacing the general business district, and forward that recommendation, forward our approval to the Board of Selectmen to insert said changes on the October 28th fall town meeting.
Seconded.
Any motion, moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alan. Thank
I'm
you.
gonna close the meeting, close the
Pretty
hearings
impressive.
now.
Make a motion that their planning board close the public hearing for the proposed zoning bylaw changes to for the October 28th special town meeting.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And that includes the
Yeah, that's why I just said the zoning bylaw.
Got it.
Yeah, I was gonna put both.
Okay,
Yeah.
draft subdivision regulations?
Okay, I was talking with Mr. Pomperian about this, and he wants us to get going on it as soon as possible, and he was saying, you know, can the planning board adopt these by the end of the calendar year, which I told him, yes, most assuredly. You know, he understands we're very busy with these subdivisions and
Okay.
and the zoning amendments, so I would recommend that we, you know, October 8th planning board meeting might be, aside from that one subdivision, might be fairly late, since we've just got the zoning done, we'll have to finish the approval.
We can move
conditions.
dangerously and give these people a light evening, you know.
No, I know, but I think we need to
It's
start.
not gonna be so late.
I was
But-
just gonna
but
say,
as
all
Mr.
signs point
Just
towards.
delayed so many things to that night.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
But as Mr. Diskin mentioned, you know,
No
he
fool.
laid out a process for reviewing the most important chapters of the draft subdivision regs, and I think, I'm not prepared to do that tonight, but
Great.
that would be fine for next time. And I have no further updates than what we
Good.
just.
There is one benefit to
Or-
having not being able to get to it, which I've discovered, and that is in going through the process with these actual real subdivisions.
Mhm.
We may in fact tweak a few
Learn
more.
something.
Yes.
Yes,
To
indeed.
me, that would, had we done it a few months ago,
Yes.
there's been a few discussions.
We discussed something about that today.
Yeah, so we may in fact now take a little bit of that experience and put it in the new subdivision regulations.
Amen.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
But
absolutely.
one thing would be nice to get resolved, and I've asked them myself, and I know you have, just to get back from the DPW their comments on what we have now and say, that's it, get
Right.
that back.
Yes, yes.
I
And
don't know how
then
we get that to
he's
happen.
aware of that, and yeah. and,
You just make a request again.
that will be done.
Just making another
Yes.
request.
Okay. I asked that we table the minutes from the August 13th meeting until later in the meeting. I'm going to suggest that we get to them right now, if it's okay. And I have a couple of changes. If you want to follow along, on page, unfortunately, mine got torn. I believe this is on page, I tore it up by mistake, okay? This is going to be on page 2. Discussion update, 48 Central Ave. Chairman Tillotson read aloud the letter into from the something. I would suggest that say Chairman Tillotson read aloud the letter from the property owner. In the sentence previous to that,
Yeah.
board in his absences of tonight's meeting, let's say board in his absence, okay? And just after absence period. Farther down,
In case, Mr. Seeley asked the planning board requiring
farther
any...
down, I'm sorry, above the word announcements, the best the board can do, it continued to reach out to the owner and continue with the project. Strike the sentence or say the board will continue to reach out to the owner. Your choice. I would just strike the last sentence, the best the board can do.
Okay.
It continued to reach, please. Okay. It's hard when you tear the pages apart and you don't have the tops and the bottoms together. Page 3. Paragraph in the middle, just above where it says review site plan 5456 Littleton Road. Sentence begins with Mr. Pauling went over the revisions in the plans which included crowning the road, a sidewalk change, crowning the road and sidewalk changes. I think that more closely reflects what we asked him to do. And those are the changes I made comments about. Okay, Heather?
Very good.
Thank you.
Minor one.
You may all have them too, but yeah.
On page 1, the very last sentence, Mr. Diskin asked if there's any difference, not different, difference in the last plan.
Yeah.
And then on page 2, about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way down, separate paragraph, Mr. Seeley asked the planning board required any kind of bond for the project. Just put a space between in and case.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, thanks.
I got it really good.
I tore up your staff report too, so don't feel so bad.
You're in a tearing mood.
Yep. No, what happens is I bring in mine with notes,
Oh.
and we had updated versions. I said, oh, I can, and I realized what I had
It
done.
happens all the time.
I got one,
Yes, please.
now that you brought that case up, in that paragraph, Mr. Seeley asked the planning board requiring any kind of bond. Mr. Wetzel attended the meeting that night, Mark Wetzel, and he commented that there was a review for the blasting permit from the fire department,
Yes.
and that the fire department would have required a bond from the blasting company.
Mhm.
Thought we should have that in there. That I thought was, like, the only thing that came out that was important that night was the fact that we kind of suggested that Mr. Seeley go back to the fire department and check on that. Because the permit for the blasting is supposed to include a bond from the blasting contract.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you could put something in there about that,
Yeah, put it says it in on
that
that.
would be helpful.
Sure can.
Thank you.
Page 4, discussion draft subdivision regulation. Mr. Diskin goes on to say that Mr. Diskin stated the board is still waiting to hear.
He still is the king.
Diskin.
What was that?
Every now and again,
You
Ken
know, you
becomes
keep
the
typing
king.
the IN, it's just automatically hit the G.
Yeah, I do.
Every now and again, Mr.
Never
Diskin
know
is the
when that
king.
happens.
What is it?
You're on page
Because
4.
it got accepted at one point as a correct spelling, and it just doesn't go away.
No, it never did get accepted by actual spelling. It's obviously a word.
Any other comments or changes?
Nope.
Motion to accept as modified?
Make a motion, we accept the August 13th, 2019 minutes as modified in the previous discussion.
Second, thank you. Moved and seconded. Without any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
You will have 3 sets the next meeting, I can tell you right now, the last meeting was at 9 pages already.
Oh, God, it's a monster.
Glad I skipped it. I'm not glad I skipped it. It's an unfortunate circumstance that put me where I was.
Are we done? Could you close?
In a moment. Any new business, old business?
Well, believe it or not, I actually do have a question. Do we
Do
follow up on the fencing in 48 Central Ave that was supposed to be constructed?
I didn't want to interrupt. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
thank you. Yours are special.
Sorry. I would like to be done, but I do have I have an old business
Yes,
question
please.
coming off the minutes we were just looking at.
Yeah.
I had commented at that meeting that the construction fencing that we were told we would get is snow fencing, and it is still not construction fencing. Is that something we can look into, do something about, or?
I'm going to respond to that. Not to cut you off.
No, cut me off. I'd like to be done.
We can make a request. The unfortunate truth of the matter is,
Yes.
we are not we're an enforcing agency, but we have no enforcement.
Yeah, I've learned.
So
Yeah, okay.
we made a request to change the fencing, and it's the fencing that's there is not so far out of whack that we didn't have it changed. And we can't keep his money because we don't have any.
There's actually another piece,
Go ahead, yeah.
piece to that, and that we requested
Yes.
construction fencing.
Mhm.
But there's actually a letter that he sent that said he was going to install
He
construction
was
fencing.
also going to apply for building permits, and I did not.
He has applied for building permit.
Yes.
Well, okay, so
That's
the
a fact.
Close to that.
But the letter he sent
I can
says
comment on that after.
he's going to
Let you guys
install,
know that.
so what we got was not construction fencing, although he said he was going to put construction fencing. It's a little different.
Once we get building permits, we have
A little
Fine.
something.
that's
No.
something.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you after.
It's like 2
I
months
just-
ago since we talked about that.
yeah. Okay,
Thank you all for your
Thank you.
patience. As I said, I won't, if things change, I will attend the October 8th, but I have a feeling I'm flying in and driving out that day or something. Thank you very much.
Thank
With
you.
that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody.